Hello, everybody! Look at this. We've got a full goddamn table this time. Hooray! Welcome to episode 6 of the Chromatic Dragon Saga, where we nerdy content creators get together and run through Horde of the Dragon Queen. So good to see you once again. We've kind of had the last couple of sessions. We were missing a web-headed hero. We were missing a BB Merrill, but this week we've got the whole gang together for a very important session coming up today. So we'll see how this all goes, everybody. Not too much to say off the top here, other than, as always, thank you to everybody who has been coming on board to the Dicecream Patreon. Super appreciate the support there. We hope you've all been enjoying the exclusive DM tip videos, the homebrew items we're posting up there, and we're getting ready to run our first Patreon one-shot with the members there very, very soon. I think that's going up probably next week or so, maybe the week after. So there are a couple spots still available if you want to jump into that 5th level adventure one-shot. It's going to be awesome. I'm working on it all week. Cannot wait to start. So thank you, everyone who's been supporting us there. Also, tune in this coming Monday for the latest edition of Beyond the Realms, and we've got a ton of streams going on next week. Monday's Beyond the Realms. A new time for the Phalai D&D stream, where the great Jordy Rose is the DM on that campaign. That's now Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. PST. Our Cyberpunk limited run one-shot is back on Thursday, and then we got this stream again on Saturday, so lots of stuff going on in the Dicecream Twitch channel next week, so thank you all for the support over there. But yeah, everyone, I don't think there's much else to get going, so as always, stretch the limbs, get yourself limber. This is gonna be a very interesting time as we jump back into our very precocious situation on the Chromatic Dragon Saga. So, last we left off, the party having regrouped themselves after a hellacious 24 hours in the town of Greenest as a group of dragon cultists had ransacked this village in the middle of nowhere, destroying all manners of houses, shops, churches, stealing whatever they could in terms of money, cash, valuables, murdering villagers, taking their belongings. You, as this new adventuring party who had taken Seldon de Grey, escorting him over to the town of Greenest, were kind of just whisked into this situation where you were you were in the small town that suddenly got raided by all these dangerous people. You saved some villages along the way. You were able to kind of fortify yourself in the local keep. But as things do happen, the raiders were just not done with you, as they ordered their adult blue dragon to rain fire on this castle, forcing you to, in a one-on-one standoff with this very illustrious humanoid blue dragonborn known as Langdarosa. And he challenged one of you to a one-on-one contest, basically saying, like, our time in this village is almost done. We've got what we need, but I want to battle one of these. One of the people from this adventuring party I've heard so much about, and through very heated discussion, Cheide, our Arctreon, Leonin barbarian, took up the role and battled Langdarosa one-on-one and took him to the limit. You were going blow for blow, knocking him on his butt more than a few times, but then out of nowhere, lightning breath came out of him, knocking you back, followed up with 2 hard-earned strikes, knocking you down unconscious. And to just put the point home, drove his sword through your shoulder and basically said, don't you dare come back at us again, or there will be hell to pay. Following the next morning, what did you decide to do? Follow them and give them hell to pay. So the next following day, after talking with Governor Nighthill, he was incensed from all the damage done to his village and was insistent on finding out what these dragon cultists are up to, why are they active in this part of the world, why they came to our village, took all our shit, and basically bolted in the dead of the night. Gave you that task to follow their trail, see what you can learn, and report back. As that happened, this sort of broken half-elf that kind of approached you as you were having these discussions, who was clearly bandaged, had looked like a broken leg and a broken arm, approached you, overheard your conversations with Governor Nihil, and said, I don't mean to put more on you that's needed, but my master, Leosin, was also captured by these dragon cultists and taken away in this raid, and I would love to come join you. But he was like a bit younger, looked like he was in his teenage years, even with Amara healing him from these wounds, saying, hey, come along. Come jump in the fire with us. He seemed a bit reluctant. It was like, I don't know. Just seemed like he's a bit out of his depth, but begged and pleaded with you to please be on the lookout for his master, as he was wearing these sort of monk-like robes as his attire, to look out for his master that was captured by these cultists. And you also took that upon yourselves to help him out. With Langdorosa giving you a wagon to help you travel along, and any kind of tools or items that you would need for the trip, gave those to you, and you were off. And through a very series of highly successful survival skill checks, tracking these cultists from Green Nest in a southeastward position, you came across a few of them on your way to find out where the bandit camp was located. You came across a collection of humans and kobolds that were kind of setting up a makeshift camp for the day, seemingly very far away from where the rest of them were, squabbling amongst themselves in this main road. And you decided, let's take this opportunity to F them up. And so you had a few series of high stealth rolls. You snuck behind them, ripped them to shreds with a surprise round, and they fled into the night. Getting them, you acquired some gold and some trinkets for your troubles. Marching ahead, you came through this as the environment around you started to change from the rolling hills of Green Nest. This grassy environment started to become more hard, rocky terrain, mountainous terrain. You found yourselves in this kind of bottleneck path with these high, rocky walls on either side beside you. And you were kind of very suspicious going in. There wasn't any other way to kind of go around it. You went forward, and lo and behold, there was a trap laid for you as these huge rocks started to tumble on either side, trying to take you out. But luckily, you were able to avoid most of the damage as a rear guard of these cultists just sprung out of nowhere, bows pulled back at you, demanding to know who you are and what your intentions were. The reason they didn't outright attack you was because our very clever Tabaxi rogue disguised himself as one of the higher-up cultists, having taken one of his black leather robes and adorned silver metal dragon cult mask. Made some very, very acute points that swayed their decisions, in that they were saying, one of them saying, we were looking out for a series of adventurers, 5 of them, that consisted of a centaur, a tabaxi, so on and so forth. But when they got to the high elf, Avery, you very cleverly pointed out, do you see a fucking high elf with us? No, you are idiots. And that was good enough to get advantage on your roll. They believed you just enough. And then you called out the leader of this rear guard and just point blank shanked him in the throat and murdered him for him being such an insolent leader, which also intimidated the rear guard as well to let you through. So after doing that, traveling for another series of hours, you find yourself coming to this kind of embankment of a hill. And as you got to the precipice of the hillside, this open landscape opened to you, and you saw before you this sort of rocky horseshoe environment ahead of you that was kind of dug into the ground, and there was this large encampment that you surmise is the dragon cultist headquarter encampment. You saw up to 100 of a mixture of kobolds, bandits, various creatures, and so forth inside this area. And at the very, very end of this encampment, through the clever lens of Arcturion's newly acquired telescope, which is one of the very clever items you asked of Governor Nihil. It gave you advantage of perception. You were able to suss out the whole visage of this encampment, how many bandits and kobolds and various creatures were. You could see various sort of makeshift leather-bound tents, some looking very ravaged, some looking a bit better than others. You noticed one tent at the very end of the encampment that was much more higher quality than the rest, much larger, with a few set guards and guard drakes in front of it that seemed very keen on their position. And you also saw in the very back Leosin himself, the master monk that you had been asked to rescue as a part of this journey. So, with all of that out of the way, we find ourselves with our party several feet away from the entrance of the encampment, sort of hidden in the side brush, discussing amongst themselves how they would like to advance and tackle this very precarious situation. But as you were discussing with yourselves what your next move is, you hear a bit of rustling in the brush behind you.
Oh shit.
I shoot an arrow into the bush.
You shoot an arrow into the brush. Avery, I'm going to have you make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, no. Apollo, I swear. Dexterity saving throw?
Yeah.
So I just roll dexterity?
Yeah. Well, there's a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, got you. No, I see
part
it
of your
now.
sheet.
Okay.
Can I say I shoot the arrow very poorly?
23.
With very little
Son of a
force
gun.
behind
No.
it?
Here's what happens. You're discussing amongst yourselves. You're kind of hidden. You're hushing. Like, what do we do? Do we disguise ourselves? Like, well, we all look like the bandits. Like, they all just look like adventurers too. Like, there's only one person that's seen us. Do they all know who we are? I don't know. You just hear like some rustling in the bushes behind you, and Cole, being the most like skittish in the situation, just shoots his short bow over behind him, and through the brush, you see your arrow just stop in midair, like it may have hit that person or a trunk. And as this figure emerges from the shadow, you just see a hand holding the arrow in his fist and coming into the light, and it's Avery.
Apollo, we got to work on your aim, bud. But
I pull out another arrow.
later.
Right now.
Later. You guys handled yourself pretty well. I've been trailing you. I didn't want you guys to go at this alone. And I'm impressed by your abilities in combat. As a fighter, I wanted to see what you guys could do, and you didn't disappoint.
You didn't help us?
You could have.
I was there
Didn't
just in
need
case.
help.
In the shadows.
We had rocks dropped on us.
And you did just fine.
I ate
It
a.
built-
I didn't do just fine.
It built character.
It built wounds.
But really cool scars.
Avery, not now, but I challenge you to a duel.
I'll take you up on it.
The next time we are safe, relatively, you and I are gonna have it out, and we need to work out some issues, buddy.
DM writes that in his notes.
Oh
Write it
my
down, too.
gosh.
Apollo's going to challenge the fighter to the duel.
I'm confident. All right, would you get down? Come over here. I'm like usher him over to join the group here.
I've rejoined.
What? Okay, so I think the best option is the shaving Arcturion option, where we just like take out all the hair, whether by plucking it out individually or just shaving it off with a sword.
wax.
Nose goes. Who's shaving him?
I did.
I immediately thought Meryl would just like, I'll do it.
We're not shaving.
Great razor.
Achaidh, I think you would look very handsome with no fur.
I think that if we waxed him, it would give it a nice smooth, look.
But if we wax him, he'll probably scream. So I
That'd be
think
stealthy.
Grooming, I like that.
I second that. I'm gonna give my options for this.
Your options.
No. And definitely not.
All right, I'll take the third one. So, since I'm just arriving here, there's a bunch of bandits in this camp.
Yes.
And so we're trying to get to the back of it. Is there any way to see if they have any like structural weaknesses, any video game red barrels that we can blow up? Anything?
I think actually here, I think this is a situation where we need to stay out of fights. And if we do get into fights, it needs to be very much like, you looked at me wrong, like very ruffian, because these are, as you can see, very ruffian sorts. So I believe...
We can try to turn them against each other.
Well, we don't want to cause too big of a ruckus because right now I don't see any of the commanders, right?
Right away, if the players here aren't on roll 20 yet, you can switch over there, and we do have a map of the whole entire encampment on there currently. But for general features about kind of the area in here, as far as like things you could maybe make to your advantage, you notice that any boulders that are kind of in place, like sort of the higher peak mountainous areas that are kind of elevated in this horseshoe-like design, if you wanted to take that approach, the boulders they're considered difficult terrain, so your speed is halved while you're moving through there. But you do gain, it provides 3/4 cover, which means you could hide behind some of the boulders, and it gain you a plus in your AC. From being hit or possibly from, hiding yourself from people's purview if they're looking for you. The brush around the site kind of grows to a height of 4 to 6 feet. It's tough and dense, making it difficult terrain, but it also provides 3/4 cover to target sheltering amongst it. The caves that Arcturion kind of pointed out, kind of way in the back of the site, it's hard to kind of make it out a little bit because there is a bit of brush around it as well. But it would be kind of, as you're like looking through this whole area, you see all these people just mulling around. It'd be kind of difficult to make a rush for that cave without at least having to be seen or talking to people if you were to just kind of go straight through. But as far as like combustible options and things like that, there's not like, drums of oil that are completely combustible and things like that. If you wanted to use the environment to like your advantage, as you're kind of looking around this area and those more sort of rocky mountainous terrain on the sides of this horseshoe-like structure inside this environment and terrain, you might be able to move some rocks onto some people if you needed to. But that's up to you how you go about this. You do know that, as far as things that you do know about these cultists and like your involvement with them, like we've established that a lot of the brunt of the raiders here all look like random adventurers, right? There's not 100 people all wearing black robes and like metal face masks. There's a few of them peppered into the crowd, but the majority of these raiders are like mercenaries, adventurers for hire, killers, that kind of thing. So the majority of people, there's like a bunch of kobolds in the mix, but a bunch of humanoids and various creatures just wearing various adventuring gear, things like that. The one thing you do know is that you were spotted by one of the raiders in your Green Nest adventure. So you do know that one of them has seen you. How far that has gone, you don't know. You don't know if, this one dude had a meeting with like all the raiders are like, they look like this, go get them. But as we discussed last session, in that kind of a question came up deciphering like, if someone told like a general, like, look out for a high elf, a centaur, a tabaxi, a leonin, and so forth. It's the same thing in real life. Like as descriptions go, you're like, look out for this ethnicity, this gender, like whatever, right? It's kind of like, it's not as simple as being like, there's a high elf that we need to look after, but there are also lots of other high elves. You know what I mean? So looking at the horde of people that are in your vicinity, you just see a lot of people that are wearing a lot of the similar gear as you. So it's up to you to kind of decipher what's the best way to approach this. Do you guys want to just go straight in as yourselves, be confident that you belong there? Do you want to go the route of disguising yourself as the cultists and trying to blend yourself in that way? Or the most favored of the options was to shave Arctreon and approach it like you've captured him as a part of that raiding party that they are aware of. We're enemies of the cultists, and go through it that way. So there's a lot of creative ways you could kind of approach this, if that makes any sense.
Well, I know that Apollo and I both are fairly high dexterity. We could possibly climb our way through the mountains and go to the other side.
I think the only one that we have to worry about getting recognized is Ark here. And the moment they see us in the surrounding mountainside, they will believe that we are their not part of the group. So I think in this case, our goal is to free all 8 prisoners, including this Leosin character.
We have other prisoners.
Yes, there are 7 villagers.
I see.
Sorry, that too. I did forget to mention that when you were awoken that next day after the dragon attack, some guards came back to Governor Nighthill and said the raiders have left, but they took some of our villagers with them.
Noted. Okay, I was thinking it was like an in and out with like this one guy. I'm like, let's get in the mountains, throw down a rope, grab him and go. But yeah, if we've got 7 other people, then
yeah, they saw when they approached the campsite, looking through the cave, they saw some of these prisoners leaving the mouth of the cave. Some of them chained up, some of them holding tons of boulders and doing general, it seemed, labor around this campsite.
Could we just like set fire somehow to the back of this area and force them all through this passageway out?
You can do whatever you like, my friend.
I was just thinking maybe you guys can cause a distraction and one of you guys release the prisoners and they can slowly just hop on my back and I'll take them out to safety.
I think the moment big trouble goes down, not only we will now have to contend with the commanders, which we've already met one of the commanders, the Langderosa, that's unsavory fellow, and he managed to take down, if I may say so, our strongest fighter.
Strongest fighter? I was sleeping.
Well, and so I don't want to alert them. I'm going to assume they're all in the big tent back there, the big fancy looking one. So I don't want to create a big enough distraction that it lures them out, but I had an idea. Our goals here are we need to evacuate the 8 hostages without anyone seeing, or at least get them away without anyone noticing for a little bit. And we also need information on the cult and what their goals are, right? Those were our 2 main objectives. And I think, what time is it about now?
You left fairly early after you were woken up because you started the day at 6 a.m. or something like that. So after several hours, it's probably in the early afternoon, like 3 p.m. sort of thing.
So I think we wait for nightfall. I think we blend in, we split up, we blend in with this mass of people, and just pretend we're meant to be here. If someone picks a fight with you, just put on your best criminal face and act like you're a ruffian who's been hired and whatever. You might even get into a small fist fight with somebody, but don't kill anyone and don't cause a big enough distraction to lure the commandos out or get their attention in some way. Because the moment if Langderosa sees Ark, he's going to recognize him. They had a one-on-one duel. They were staring at each other. He stared down at him as he stabbed him in the chest. You have a scar from that, by the way, Ark? Adds to your cool. Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Don't dig into it, but that's cool.
It's great.
Yeah. It's good. Looking good.
I want to lead into that idea. So I like the nightfall. I like waiting for nightfall. I think Amara and I should go over to the mountainous range, go around while the 3 of you go to the center and do your business, and we go loop around, get the one guy, and then we can slowly start grabbing one villager at a time. under the cover of nightfall, while more you guys are not creating so much of a distraction, but definitely drawing the eyes of the people guarding.
Archeon, I have one sentence to say, and that is stealth rolls for you.
Do I need to roll stealth rolls while I'm on top of that mountain?
I mean, if you're going down at night trying to pick up people.
I don't have to go down.
I just have to go down.
Okay.
So the thing is, doing anything sneaky will require stealth checks. So whether you're trying to be sneaking around the camp, sneaking around anything, there will be group stealth checks in case, one of you's trying to sneak around the mountainside. Maybe one of you slip, maybe some rocks fall down, and some guards go, what the fuck's up and over there? And then they come, you know what I mean? So being stealthy, there will be stealth checks.
I hate to say this, and as much as I would love to be that guy, your boy might have to sit this adventure out. I think I am a sore thumb. I'm a clumsy sore thumb, and I don't think I'm fit for...
Well, there was that option to treat you as a prisoner.
I brought that up last time. You can treat me as either I'm dead in the back of the cart or you've completely captured me.
I still like that one. I feel like we should hide him in the wagon, walk in like we own the place, and we're just walking to the back. Don't need to try to talk to anyone.
We have a wagon?
We have a horse and wagon.
They asked for a wagon from Governor Nighthill as one of the things they needed.
Yeah, can we throw Archeon in the back of the wagon, cover him up, and then he's our he could be our captive, or if worst case scenario, he could be, our Hulk.
That's what I'm saying. And then if we get caught, he can jump out and help.
If everything goes bad, I'm just like, bruh.
I'm just gonna shove Archeon onto the cart without saying anything and just start putting my bedroll and my clothes on him that I'm not using.
I also have a bedroll, costumes, everything.
I could also go with Amara and help with the prisoners.
How many people are in this camp in total?
In total, you surmise over 100. There's roughly over 100 various kobolds, humanoids, bandits, all kind of doing their own thing. As you're kind of surveying the campground around here, you see kind of a more dilapidated setting of tents for the kobolds, as you kind of were starting to get the picture from when you encountered these dudes on the road, that the humans were kind of treating the kobolds like crap. They were like, oh, you're a pain in the ass. We fucking hate you. So their living situation is a bit less than the others. You see various sort of raiders and mercenaries and such in a different section with their tents are much nicer, a bit more put together. You can see kind of various hunters kind of coming through the different camp with elk and different wildlife on a different various pieces of wood, kind of holding them to and fro as they're going to a different camp to maybe make food for the night. There's lots going on, but there's kind of lots of things happening in various sections of this whole encampment. It's very busy. There's lots of things going on. There's not just 100 people looking at the entrance being like,
So it sounds like it's chaotic. I say we play off that for sure.
That's what I'm saying, just walk in we own the place.
Yeah.
You can see various kobolds and raiders kind of taking sacks of rewards and things like that from the raid and kind of putting them down, organizing it. It's very busy.
I say still let's disguise ourselves to the best of our ability and then play off the chaos.
I do think we must split up so
Agreed.
that only maybe two of us are together at one point, because they are looking for a group specific to our group. So I think we split up, we make some general cosmetic changes. And I think if we wait till we focus on gaining intelligence until nightfall, then I'm assuming most of them will go to sleep, and then we can more easily, I hope, sneak out the hostages, and maybe we go up the back, those boulders and stuff in the back. Maybe we go up through there with the hostages and get out in the night.
Why would we split up at this point? Wouldn't it be better if we stay together until we...
They're looking for a group, so...
They're looking for our specific group, and right now we need intelligence. We're not necessarily beelining it for the hostages.
Do we need intelligence, though? Do we really need information? Are we just
You
here to
wouldn't
get
say
these
that,
guys out of
Archaeon.
here and sail out of here? Sail out of the-
Well, I would personally also Nighthill and I would both like to know.
You do recall that Nighthill offered you all 250 gold pieces each if you were able to ascertain these important pieces of information, who these guys are, why they're here, where they're coming from, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So you might go back and not give him any information, but then he might not give you anything if you don't come back with something. Because the monk thing was kind of an add-on from another person, but Nighthill was like, I'll give you a reward if you're able to ascertain some information for him and maybe the Lord's Alliance to like intervene and find out what these guys are doing.
I did really like the idea of Ark and Amara going up and kind of ferrying people out, but maybe we do that at night, so that it's, under the cover of darkness, and maybe, we'll have to play it by ear a bit, but maybe those of us still in the camp can light a fire on one of the tents. Like it's just, it's an accident that caught, but it'll catch attention and people will be looking that way and away from the hostages being
I agree.
out.
I think that we should reserve that for if for some reason we are close to being discovered, and then we can light a fire, hopefully just distract people enough, something that's small enough to get people's attention. But like you said, I think that'd be a good idea. And then also, like, with the good thing about Ark is that he could probably pull some of these prisoners
two
up.
at a time.
I do have, hold on. I do have rope. I have rope hempen 50 feet of it.
Could start ferrying people up with that. Also, Amara could help with wild shape stuff. I mean, I think this is, and then once we're all together, pass without a trace and we disappear. I think the goal is to fight as little as possible, get as much information as possible, get the hostages and get out. I think we need to do it in one night, because come tomorrow morning, they might start planning for new things and like start calling people to help and whatever, and then we'll be more at risk of being discovered.
Okay, so are we waiting for nightfall, or are we doing this now?
We're going in and getting information now, and then nightfall comes and we enact the plan to free the prisoners.
I will say one thing with me, my charisma's real low. So if I'm having to charm and talk to people a whole bunch, that is
Avery,
not my strong suit.
Avery, look at these blundering fools. Or I'm going to gesture at all the bandits and stuff, and I'm going to be like, you are much more charismatic. I think we will blend in just fine. I would say, I as long as we don't engage with any of the commanders, and try not to. I don't know if we want to get caught in that cave in the back.
Wait, are there people going in and out of the cave, Kevin?
Yeah, as Archer was kind of looking through a telescope, he relayed back to you that some of the prisoners were like chained together and carrying like huge boulders and coming out and placing them down and kind of going back in. So there's a little bit of activity going in between there.
Yes, but it seemed that there were guards over there last time, right?
No one is guarding the entrance per se, but there's a lot like in the central hub of the camp. There's a lot of comings and goings of various people. This encampment, this one tent that looked much larger in structure, higher quality, had a few guards and guard drakes that were just stationed there, and they look steady and firm, and they're not looking at anyone. They're just guarding this larger tent that's close to the entrance of the cave.
I don't want to catch those guards' eye. They seem to be a bit more serious than everyone else, so I'd rather kind of stay under the radar and grab and go whatever information we can surmise just from talking with some of the bandits, about what's happening next. Hey, what do you know? What's going on next?
Also, I'm sure the prisoners have heard something. They know what they're bringing out of the mine. They've been in the mine. I don't think that we would have to journey in to be able to understand what's going in there, as long as we get at least one of the prisoners out. Ideally, all of them, but we'll be able to learn what's going on in there.
Exactly. And then my slight concern is Leosin in the back. He is strung up separately and seems to be tortured in some way. So he obviously knows something they don't, and they want to figure it out, right? So I think he's also priority information-wise.
Agreed.
My thought was that I kind of had before was, Amara, if you can heal him, he can help us get the rest of the prisoners out.
I think he's just hungry. He looks quite famished.
Here,
I have
have
chicken that I stole from Well, I didn't steal it. They were fighting over it and they left it, you know?
But you have a
Wait.
problem with us eating rabbits?
Don't eat rabbits.
Chickens are fine though.
Chickens are okay, but rabbits, no.
Make a note of that. Does anyone else have any, additions to that? Or I mean,
No, I think that's good. If you want us just to survey for information, I may just go and, sit down at a campfire and see if I can hear what people are saying, and then just sit there quietly and not try to draw attention to myself. And then if Archeon and Amara want to go over and start helping people up there at night. And then if things start to go wrong, we can kick over a log in the fire and get some sparks and light it on fire.
Okay, well, why doesn't Arlie come with me? She can help me pull the cart and guard it. You can go with Apollos, and we'll just have Archeon in the
Oh no! If we're doing this, I'm not even going to be involved in this.
in the wagon, silly. You'll hide.
I'm going to sit back in here. I'm going to wait.
I'm
think
going to pull the wagon with
But the thing is God forbid they flip it open and they see me.
Well,
That's-
we do have treasures that we brought from the raid. I think it should be okay.
Should we not just leave the wagon outside for right now until we go?
Yeah, just
later?
leave me with the wagon. Leave me with
we could use the wagon to escape with the prisoners as well. So actually, if you take the wagon, the horse, and go around, can you pull it up so it's on top of the ridge and then almost directly above, and then you can use your telescope to scout things out, right?
Can we use the wagon in that terrain?
Yeah, I was about to ask.
It's pretty broken.
Above and away from it, but just away so we can quickly guide the hostages that way towards the wagon, throw them all in the wagon, and get out of here.
Kevin, is the cart allowed up that terrain?
So if you remember, the cart that they gave you was not exactly in the best of shape. The wood was a bit splintered. The wheels were a bit wobbly. It was the best they could kind of muster after the raid had taken most of their valuable possessions in the town. Getting up the rocky terrain, it's possible. Seems a little dodgy just from the look of the wagon, but it could happen.
And we would have to probably leave the horse.
I don't want to risk breaking that cart, though. If we break that cart, we lose a lot of mobility.
Yeah.
Maybe we just hide it out of the way then.
Okay.
Yeah, right now we are hidden.
Cover it with some leaves and branches.
It needs to be away from the camp, though. So if we do cause a ruckus, they're not going to discover it looking for us. So we can use it as an escape.
As long as I keep it where it's at.
Yes. But I think right now it should really just be gather as much information as possible. Once night falls, we focus on freeing the prisoners. And once night falls, Ark, if you're at the top of the ridge with Amara guiding people up, Avery and I can be at the bottom freeing prisoners. I believe we would probably have the best luck actually undoing their restraints.
Yeah.
I just need someone to tell them to hop on.
Yes, big scary animal
Spider.
beckoning for them.
It's just a very cute spider. It's no big deal.
Wait, Amara's a spider?
I will turn into a spider.
Ah.
Wolf spider.
We did warn Leosin. He does know we're coming. So
Does he know you're coming?
we sent him a message, yes. But I think
Sent him a message?
Amara
No.
sent a bird that spoke into his ear.
I told him I love him forever, always.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You sent him a message, you could not reply.
Yeah.
But you felt confident that you sent him. Yeah, he was able to hear what you told him, but you have no idea if he knows who you are, what that meant, or anything.
I did tell him listen to my voice, and I think he'll know.
That's true.
I think he did mention
Yeah.
as well to look out for a tabaxi. So
Yes.
he will. So most likely, I think if Avery and I kind of congregate once night falls and start freeing prisoners, or possibly, take over for maybe there's gods there that we can take over for. Be like, I'll relieve you and take over for the gods, and then free the prisoners. Kind of do that, and then we all kind of congregate and help them all up together, right? But I think we don't want to be seen together. And Ark, you have that telescope. The only wild card in all of this is the commanders. We don't know all of them. We only know of the one, and that one was strong enough to take out Ark here. So I'm very concerned about that.
Maybe not next time. Okay, so I think I should go climb that mountain range and sit up there and just wait for nightfall.
With Amara, because Amara should be able to, if it's an emergency and there's like information that we need now, Amara could wild shape into an animal and come down the rocks to come warn us.
Yeah. Yes, if an animal comes at you quite quickly, it's just me. It's okay.
Yeah, if a bird comes pecking you in the eyeball, it's Amara.
Yes. So I think that's our best bet is Ark and Amara kind of scout and warn, and then once night falls, we all congregate around the prisoners and help them up and out.
All right.
We get as much information as possible before then. It doesn't, but I don't, even if we don't get very much information, I don't want to stay here for very long. So
all right.
If you are caught, if someone questions you or you're caught, just be big, boisterous, and loud. Be very, like, you just had a victory in this village and, you're not going to be torn down by this person. Like, it's very much like drunkard, vibes here, it seems. So I think the louder, the better. I got
two variations of that. One, if they start asking, let's just say they drop a heavy question on you and you're like, uh-oh. You could either act as a mute. So Avery, you could just, be like, you're a mute, can't speak, right? Or you're deaf, or whatever. Try to play that card. Or, like I said before, since there already is a feud between the humans and the I'm sorry,
kobolds.
Kobolds, thank you. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. That's still another thing that we could kind of just be like, even as we're kind of like leaving, like, hey, this guy.
Kobold rebellion. I like that.
Yeah, kobold rebellion. Yeah, or the human. Like, listen. We're better than these kobolds. We just gotta finish them off here, and we can take more gold for ourselves.
Why not get on both sides of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Half does one, the other does half, and then you could. I'm serious. Listen, I'm just gonna go climb a mountain. I'm gonna go chill up there with my telescope, and
I like that idea. I like that idea a lot.
Because if you manage to get even just like a handful of them against each other, that's enough.
That is enough. Especially for a distraction, that might be good, actually. Avery.
Yes.
I'm going to leave... if it comes to that, I'm going to leave the humans to you, because I can speak Draconic.
Right. Okay, sounds good.
Yes. So I'll talk to the kobolds. But if it comes to that, we guide them against each other.
Which side would I be on?
I think you could probably do both. You could play both sides. You speak Draconic, right? Yeah. Both sides.
Okay.
Just remember to mention that you're speaking it in Draconic if you're gonna say something. Just remember to.
Right.
Yeah, you could even just like as you're walking through the camp now, just sprinkle in a few like as you're passing through a group, just I hate kobolds, and then keep walking, and then like just start spreading it early.
Okay, Archer and I are going on our date.
Okay.
Have
all right,
fun.
On 3.
Break.
So on the map, I put little colored dots on who the prisoners are and who Leosin is, just so you can kind of separate them from the other tokens. So if we want to start this insane fun plan, Archeron and Amara, you're going to start to make your way kind of off to the left-hand side there on the mountainous terrain, trying to position yourselves close to where the prisoners are. First, the Apollo, Avery, and Arlie, you're just going straight into the camp, right? You're not sneaking around? Or are you waiting till nightfall?
We're going straight in.
Okay. So I'll have Archeon and Amara make stealth checks first. If you want to do your passive without a trace, this is probably a good time to do it. and then we'll have you make a roll to climb up the terrain as well. So roll stealth for me really quick.
Okay. How many of those do you have, Amara?
I only have one, so
Okay, so-
I will save it.
Okay.
All right, fingers crossed. Let's. Good God, 6.
Okay.
All right.
14
14.
for stealth, yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna see me.
Oh, is there a watchtower right there?
Yep.
I was going to ask about that, but I didn't.
It's fine. It's fine. Rub.
It's fine. I already admit it. It's fine. They see me. It's okay.
Cover yourself in dirt or something.
So let's get you guys here. So Amara and Arcturion start to try to kind of make their way over towards the mountainside. There's a bit of shale and loose rock kind of at the start of getting up into the upper region of this terrain. You kind of go up, and Arcturion kind of is like, everyone's like, okay, it's fine. Go up here, break. All right. The first rock you go up, Arcturion, it just breaks off, and you kind of fall on the ground, and some shale kind of falls down for a minute. Amara, you're able to kind of put your foot on Arcturion's shoulder and kind of boost yourself up and kind of get up and start climbing yourself up on that shale using him as a boost. But then you do notice 2 of these guards kind of start to everyone's kind of like just generally taking a look around, and they hear those rocks kind of falling in the distance, and you just see 2 heads go.
Avery, come with me, and I'm gonna try and like pull Avery out, like we're kind of
All right.
like together, just like like laughing loudly. that was a good throw you had there, and kind of come around the corner and like
So you're gonna make yourself visible to them?
yeah, but like shouting about how that was a good throw.
Yeah.
And that was right.
With Arlie?
With Avery.
No, I'm saying, are you going with Arlie? Is Arlie staying behind?
I don't know.
I'm
I just
going
grabbed
with you
Avery.
guys.
Yeah.
I'll just follow along and
All right.
Okay.
do that with.
So the 3 of you will kind of, we'll say, come up to here. We'll leave the wagon back there, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So as that happens, you see those 2 guards kind of notice the rock sound off in the distance, and they look over. Then you come around the corner. Ha, ha, ha! Oh, shit.
I don't know what you mean. I totally hit the target. It was right on. It was directly.
That was
directly right
amazing. Well
Alright.
done.
The
It was
guards
good.
kind of look over your direction as you're coming through, and they're kind of just staring at you. Are you just walking by them like you're just supposed to be there, or are you gonna
How
like
close are they?
as you're coming around this corner, they're like 10 feet away.
I'm gonna like as I'm like I'm gonna put myself between them and Avery, and then I'm just like patting it, like talking to him and patting him on the back and stuff, and then like just kind of a glance over and be like, I still have like the mask and robes on and stuff.
Yeah.
You can, like nod that I'm.
I'll have Arcturion and Amara roll athletics check super quick as you're climbing up, kind of using this distraction to kind of climb up
Can I
the
do
side of this space.
acrobatics?
It is not an acrobatics check, unfortunately, because
Darn.
acrobatics is more like leaping from place to place, doing more of a finesse thing. This is a strength-based climbing up to get up there.
Oh, shit.
22.
7.
22 and 7. So, Arcturion, you're able to kind of get up on the top here, as Amara used your shoulder to kind of boost up, start climbing up. The rocks here are fairly loose and a bit shale-like. So as she kind of starts climbing up, you just with your Leonin prowess kind of you made a bit of a sound. You can hear off in the distance Apollo and Avery and Arlie like making a bunch of commotion, trying to cover your tracks. Like you just use your feline agility just jump up, clear that 10-foot height just to jump up to that upper level. As you pass Amara, she kind of gets freaked out from this giant Leonin jumping up, and she kind of just flinches for a minute and starts to fall down. I'm going to have you make a quick dex check, Arcturion, to see if you can catch Amara as she's fallen down.
Dex saving throw or just dexterity?
Just straight dex.
Straight dex. Well, that was so close. 9. It was almost a nat 20.
Oh. So as Amara kind of jumps up, you try to grab her hand, but it's too late, and she falls on the ground. And I'm gonna roll.
Frustration. He's just like, shut the hell up.
Do we hear like rocks falling and stuff over there? I'm gonna look at Avery and just go, man, I think your throw was so powerful you dislodged the whole hillside. My God, and I'm patting
I have been practicing, so that's
Apollo, I'm gonna have you roll deception for that one.
Nine.
Oh
man.
Can I get an assist for they're all with me? I mean,
yeah, that is true. This is
Can I
a group.
assist him?
Yeah, this is a group effort. You're all kind of in on this, so I will give you advantage on that, Apollo.
13.
Okay.
I hate these
So once
virtual
again-
dice.
Skating by.
You see the guards kind of look over as the shale rocks are falling. Oh shit! Oh, that throw was amazing. You really got them that time. So like the guards kind of like just like, oh, okay, there's nothing. Then they hear like a body kind of fall on the ground. They go, you go, oh, the mountain's still shaking after you threw that dude in there. Holy shit! And they're like, they're going about their business, but they're less like, oh, it was nothing. They're kind of like, okay. But they're seemingly standing their post. They're not investigating that sound at this time. So Amara, make another athletics check. Arctron, if you put your hand down, you can give her advantage. But yeah,
You can do it, Amara.
A rope or something. Just
the rope, yeah.
Yeah.
So he puts down the rope. So I'll give you advantage for Arctron trying to help you get up the mountainside here.
Give me okay, never mind. All right.
For Amara.
My first roll is an 8. The second is a 14.
Hey, there you go. So Arctron kind of gets down on his belly, starts putting out the rope for you to climb, and just holds on to it like, come on. Like singing like, while the getting's good, get the fuck up here. And you're able to just like your long nails kind of start to come out of your fingers and kind of wrap around the rope a bit more securely, and Arctron just kind of drags you up as you're like climbing it, but just for time's sake, he's pulling you up as you're climbing. So you are now up.
Achaidh, you're so strong.
And I'm incredibly clumsy.
So the two of you on top of that ridge, the rest of our party here, starting to make their way past these guards around over here. Up to you who wants to go first. We can either do Archer and Amara making their way closer to the prisoners, or Apollo, Avery, and Arlie going into the camp and seeing what their next move is.
Like the pace of Amara and I going, and then if the gang happens to hear something, they're just like, "Oh yeah, but pay attention to that." Not pay like that. Like just
Let's
to
do
come
it
up.
then.
I think Amara and I should move first.
Okay.
As a safe measure.
So as Arlie and everyone's kind of like side-eyeing Arctron and Amara, not able to outright see them for their vantage point, but just knowing there's another mission going on, trying to keep at least a bit of an eye out for anything that happens there. So
do we actually have to move though? I mean, if we're just up there waiting for nightfall, we don't exactly have to move until nightfall because we'll have an advantage for stuff.
I think we should move anyways. 'cause
How
they-
long would it
It's up to
take?
you.
Like so, just as a game logic thing, how long would it take for them to move over near the prisoners? Like, would they have to start moving now, or would they be able to move at nightfall?
I'm wondering.
Yeah,
if-
so this isn't hours of travel to get over to the prisoners here.
like 20 minutes.
It's around like 80 feet from where they are. So like a few minutes they'd get there.
Got you.
But
So-
as they progress, there will be chances for, stealth checks, not
Yes.
making any noise. So there is that.
And it is fairly loud and busy right now.
Yeah.
It is daylight, but it is fairly loud and busy, so you might have some cover from just the noise and commotion.
True. Kevin, do we have an advantage on stealth if we move at night, though?
No.
Okay, then I guess we boogie. We can boogie now.
If you stay, you have plenty of time. If you stay low and slow, you might be able to get through there. You know, you're not.
That is
you don't
that
have
is
to-
that is one of the like when trying to be strategic about like doing these kind of encounters, because for a couple of you this is your first time kind of doing these things. You know, moving or doing inciting any actions may incur skill checks, may incur rolls to see if you know are successful at the thing you do. You know you're up here. You know that your friends have kind of made a distraction for people not to notice you're up here. So it's up to you. You're like, we're safe here, we're hidden. Let's just wait here until night. But no matter if you move during the day or at night, you will have to roll stealth checks to move to be unseen, because it's just in this encampment, there's always somebody kind of like lurking around, like, you know, keeping an eye out on the area. That guard tower up there, there's someone trying to keep an eye out on everything. So it's up to you.
I would go now.
Do our smaller movements have less chance of drawing the attention of people? If, let's just say, we move, like I have a 35-foot moving space. Sorry, words.
30 feet.
20. Does that raise less suspicion?
It's not really judged by like distance traveled, really. It's done more by choices.
Okay.
So like you choose to move up here, do this thing. I then determine how successful it was through the rolling of skill checks. So you've kind of done your first part, and then it's like, now from here, we want to go over here. It would require another skill check to see how successful you are at, you know, not drawing attention. So it's the same idea as like moving through a terrain with like shaled rock. Like you got up here, no one heard it, but now you got to move more feet. So again, you're going and trying to make sure no one heard any noises as you were driving, kind of thing.
Okay, so Amara, I think we should stay away from the edge, because there's no point of being that close to the edge. So if we go straight down just before those trees, and then start kind of going around that treed area, because I have my telescope, I can see this. If we kind of go around that treed area, stay away from the edge, I think we have a less chance of being
Okay.
So I'm gonna do just my do I have double my movement? I don't think I do. No, I think it just has 30. Okay, so I'm just gonna
you can dash as an action that will double your movement speed. So it's like you're like running, almost jogging.
I think for right now, I think I'm just gonna move the 35. I think I'm just gonna move my Amara, how much can you?
I believe just 30.
Okay, I'll move 30 with you then.
Yes.
Just 30 then.
Yeah, so 30 from there would be around this area.
I cannot move my character.
Oh no, hold on.
I just might have to refresh it. Don't mind me.
No, you're not. It's not on your. I have your characters all saved here, but for some reason it's like it doesn't want to recognize.
Usually I just have to.
It better recognize.
Recognize. There you go. You guys are good now.
Okay, hold on. I just refreshed it, just because.
You said like here?
Yeah.
Yeah, around there.
Yeah, I just want to stay away from it. Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm clumsy as shit here.
It is all good. So in moving over there, though, I will have you and Amara make another stealth check.
Oh my god, please. Oh, 19.
5.
Does she have an advantage because she's with me?
Fortunately, not.
I know.
Okay.
Ooh, how many animal morphing things do you have? Because if you morph into something very small, like a bird, you're gonna be less chance. It's only just me who's got to make the stealth checks.
I do have 2. I mean, if I turn into a spider now, I can start making my web.
Big spider, though. Still big spider.
I don't do skill checks for like any kind of climbing thing.
They start
Like-
climbing.
Going around like terrain, difficult terrain.
Yeah, so as a spider, she has spider walk. I think it's called spider climbing. She doesn't have to make checks to like go up walls or ceilings. She's just climbing like a spider effortlessly, like over terrains and other things.
And this is a rocky terrain.
But as you are sort of making your way closer to that prison encampment, try to stay low, trying to get behind the boulder terrain and everything. There's just a couple times where Amara's kind of following you and your leg just kind of scrapes against a rock or two against a boulder and it kind of jettisons over to the side. Oh no, Jess's camera knocked out. So sorry if our configuration is all over the place.
No.
We'll get her back in a second. But yeah, that noise is pretty prevalent. It's a loud like scrape against a couple loose rocks. As Arctrain look behind, you're like,
Shit.
but like you said, you moved away from that ledge of the rocky plateau. So you're several feet away from sort of view from the encampment right now. So you kind of wait a second. You don't hear anyone being like, what's that over there? Or anything. You just wait a minute. And you keep moving forward. Do you want to move?
I think Jessica's internet might be out.
Oh no.
Yeah, her stream's frozen.
Okay, well, hopefully we can get Jess back on here in a second.
Can we pause here and have Arctreon looked at the watchtower to see if they can see us, maybe?
I mean, sure, you could try that if you like. I'm going to make a perception check.
Perception check, okay.
At advantage, because you got the...
Oh, good thing I had a 2. So let's go back with a better roll. 17.
Hey.
That's better.
Awesome. There's Jess.
Hey,
There you are.
Back.
Hi, friend.
My computer is freaking out.
It's all good. You are back. I think the configuration of the videos hopefully are still all intact, but we shall see. But yeah, so Arctron, you kind of down low by the rocks. Amara kind of makes a bit of a rustling with the rocks behind you. Shit. Kind of poke your head out a little bit. Look over at that watchtower over there. You see a couple guards like stationed at the bottom. As you look up at the top, you see a couple kind of talking to themselves, and you see one kind of like you can't make out what they're talking or saying, obviously, but you see him kind of nudging over to the other one, being like pointing around at the hill and ridge side. Not sure why or what that means, but yeah, they seem that they're just very on alert.
Okay.
You could stay still for a little bit as well.
Yeah, we're not moving until y'all are basically doing your thing. So
maybe you guys have a convo and we'll just chill for a bit.
I think I think after we get far enough past those guards, I think we'd split and just.
It's up to you. You're able to kind of move these tokens, so it's up to you, like where exactly in the camp you want to go. If you want to split up, what your plan is from here on.
Since I don't really speak Draconic, I think I'm not going to go towards the kobolds. I may just join. Who are these red hooded fellows over here?
These are various guards for the encampment. So they're wearing kind of these various robes, kind of around their purse with different adventuring gear on themselves. But they don't have like the cultist black robes that you had seen before,
right,
or wearing any like purple gold adornment like Lang de Rosa had on them.
Are there any sort of like non-uniformed people, or are they all uniformed? Like they all got.
They're all non-uniformed people.
Okay,
Like,
got you.
the majority of this camp, like 90%,
Oh, cool.
are all random mercenaries, bandits, adventurers. They all look very similar to you.
In that case, I'm just going to go ahead and go over to the red robe people and just kind of take a seat next to the fire and just see if I can listen in on anything they say.
Okay. So here's the fun thing about this information gathering part of this session. I have a few pieces of information ready to go, but I'm going to have you roll, whoever is trying to ascertain information, I'm going to have you roll a D12 to determine what piece of information you hear.
Noted.
So first, just make a quick perception check as you're just kind of like getting by the fire, kind of warming yourself up, and you hear various voices around you, kind of speaking in various different conversations.
Got a very high score. What was it? It was a 23.
Okay, awesome.
Who's rolling for perception?
Me.
It was Avery, as he's kind of like set up next to the fireplace. He's just trying to like zero in and listen on the various conversations around him. 23. I'm gonna have you roll the d12 at advantage.
All right.
For that high perception roll.
So that was a 10 and a 10 and a 2. So
it's up to you. Do you want to take the 10 or the 2? I will say.
Let's go for the 10. All right, let's get the dime.
Okay. So as these various sort of mercenaries and bandits are all kind of gathered together, you can kind of see, as well as you're like now starting to explore the camp a bit and you're walking through, some tents have been set up for a while, but there are still some stragglers that maybe have come a little bit late that are still setting up their settlements, still setting up their tents. So this there's a couple of stragglers maybe coming back from the assault on Green Nest, but the majority of them are here. But there's still people making themselves comfortable, getting fully settled in. And you can, at the campsite that you're at, a few of these mercenaries have kind of like set up their tents and all their stuff. They've put their bags down, their weapons are down, they all have tankards of ale, and they're just cheering each other. And they shout out, "The Mother of Dragons, praise Tiamat's glory!" And they do that. They just hit, all the tankards hit, and they just down all of their ale and bevies in one go. "I cannot wait for her to return, and when that day comes, all the nations of the world shall tremble before her majesty." And they're just like putting an arm around them, and they look over to you as you're kind of just putting your hands by the fire, like, "Friend, come, bask in the glory of Tiamat with us. Today was a glorious day. Come, friend, come."
No one told me we had ale. Of course, I'll join. So I'm gonna grab some ale and just sit there and blend in. You know, I'm not drawing any attention, but I've got it's kind of like when you're at a party, you got your red Solo cup. You know, no one, you've automatically got your disguise. If you just got that one red Solo cup, everybody's like, "All right, he's in on it. All right, you're part of the thing we're doing." So I'm just gonna sit there with the ale and
all right. So one of them has like a nearby cask that you kind of look on it, and it has a sigil kind of burnt in the side of the wood cask that is a similar sigil that you've seen in the keep, representing the sigil of Green Nest. So you kind of surmise that maybe this was something they had taken from the raid. And as you kind of put your mug down, give you a bit of ale from the cask. You take your frosty sort of, not frosty, but frothy mug. Yes. That's what I was looking for. It kind of cheers them all together as they take another big swig. They're just going over their bountiful conquest they had. And they're like, "So, friend, what were you able to get from today's conquest?"
Entertainment from watching that Leonin go down in that really humiliating manner.
And they all just start laughing. The rats are like, "Oh, Langderosa makes short work of him. I mean, Brucia thought that maybe he was going to win, you know, because there were a couple close calls there. But when Side Rat brings the lightning breath, you didn't think so, really?"
No, not that puny guy. And then just take another swig.
I don't know. I've never seen too many people throw around Langderosa like that. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. But he still came out on top.
Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. I very much liked how he just struck down that soul, twisted it in there like a battle exclamation point. That was hilarious.
Oh, yes. How about the rest of you? And getting the attention away from me and just be like, "What did you all?" And then just push the question out there. So I'm giving the attention back to them. I was saying, "All right, what did you guys get? This is some great ale," and just letting them converse.
I'm going to have you roll a charisma check.
Oh boy, this is not great.
I see how it is. You get to drink beer. I get to climb
17.
Hey.
Oh,
Awesome. So you much well blended in with the rest of the crowd here, and able to just like revel with them and their recent success. And like, what do we took everything we could, friend. Money, gold, statues, spell scrolls, whatever it is, we took it, and we did not think twice of it. But I'm not sure what all the others got. We all kind of just took what we could. I know that the plunder from the nearby settlements, is all stored in the cave over there. So we're not really sure what the whole plot is just yet. But I'm betting altogether it's going to be a sweet, sweet pot for Tiamat.
Do I need to respond? I'm just sitting there listening. I'm just like, yes, and just.
It's up to you. You can reply. You can be quiet.
My whole goal here is just to be quiet, and I am not there to make an impression. So
as you're kind of nodding and just saying like, oh yeah, and one of the other mercenaries like, how much you figure we've gotten altogether from Greenness, from the other settlements? What do you think the total pot is, eh? What do you think our lot in this is worth? Another one pipes up, I don't know. No one but Resmir really knows how much is there altogether, but I mean, it must be a huge pile by now. I mean, we've been at this quite a while.
Noted. Yeah, and just again, I'm just sitting back. I'm just listening and I've already kind of gained or like, oh, this guy, he was laughing at the Leon, and anyways,
and as they're kind of going back and forth, they're like, hey Bruce, how would you have taken care of the Leosin? What would have been your move? He's I don't know. It's got that big mane, right? Yeah. I probably would have gone for that first, gotten a big, huge handful of tuft, and just thrown him down the ground, just stomped away at his stupid tiger teeth, and just bashed in his head with my shield until he was no more. Yeah. Oh, that sounds like and they're just like basically just having this jovial conversation about how they would all have taken down this Leosin in their own way. Some of them don't look nearly as capable of doing so, but they're just propping themselves up, making themselves feel good.
Typical dude conversation.
They've taken down at least 8 back home, bigger than that size. You wouldn't know them because they go to a different school, but they're big. Yeah.
As they're all talking amongst themselves, they all look towards you, Avery, and be like, how about you, friend? If you were to take down that Leosin, how would you do it? What tactics would you have used?
I didn't look too smart. Probably could have just confused him to death.
No, really? Confuse him?
I never
really thought of that. How would you do that, son?
Oh, I just tell him, I heard something over there, and then just I throw a rock, and he would think it was some sort of prey, and he'd chase after it. They're so dumb, those Leonins.
Yeah, they are pretty stupid. I mean, you put a bit of a bowl, a string, or something, they probably just get all flustered and run around, right?
Just get a thing of yarn and just roll it away. Let's see the kitty just jump on it.
My friend back home said he found this weird herb, right? That he found that was kind of bundled in a square, and he just threw it in front of the Leosin, and he went just fucking apeshit. He was rolling around, didn't know where he was. It was
better yet. Stick with a feather on it. Works every time.
Seems to be no end to the creativity of besting these beasts. I hope we run into him again. I really, really do. They all just clank their tankards together. As we come from that, we'll pan over to Arlie and Apollo. Are you two sticking together, or are you separating as well?
I'm just gonna separate, and because I think I don't want anyone who is like in that group to be seen together. Like if they seen just a Tabaxi, they'll be like, a Tabaxi, but a Tabaxi and a did they say centaur before, or did they say servitor?
They said centaur.
So I'm gonna let Arlie know, hey, if anyone approaches you on that, correct them.
I'm no centaur.
Exactly. And I'm gonna kind of split off, and I just kind of want to do like a scouting like circle through the camp, just like idly walking through, almost like I'm kind of patrolling a little bit.
Okay. Do you want to put your marker where you're kind of ending up from that? Or are you going to do like a full circle and come back to where you are?
Like over the course of like an hour, I'm just going to kind of like slowly make my way through all of this and just kind of go all the way around. I don't want to get too close to the tent, the big tent. So maybe kind of get closer here, catch up with Avery one more time. And then from what I see on that scouting, I'll decide what to do next.
Making my way. Okay. So scouting around, like we had said before, very busy time in the encampment right now. Some have their tent sites kind of fully up and they're starting to, some various venison and different carcasses are kind of being dragged through the camp, getting ready for tonight's dinner. Some are still building up their tent sites and trying to get it all good to go. But as you go through, like again, you see this site over here that houses some of the prisoners in those very obvious sort of manacle chains. They're kind of, some of them are stuck to the ground through pegs as some kind of leave and come back to the cave entrance, leaving boulders and various labor throughout the camp. You see Leosin way behind here, still attached with rope to that various peg-like structure that has one kind of beam in the middle and kind of an X in the middle of it. And he just looks very gaunt and bruised and cut, and he's just kind of passed out at the moment. Walking around here, you see the cave entrance. Again, couple people coming in and out. Some of them are prisoners. Some of them are the local mercenaries and bandits. A couple cult leaders kind of go in there every so often. It's not like a steady stream in and out, but there are people coming in and out of there. You pass by this encampment over here, and you hear various eclectic group of voices coming from that more highly detailed proper encampment. Have you roll perception check really quick. 16. Okay. So looking through or hearing through that encampment as you're kind of going around, you can hear kind of muffled voices kind of talking within there. And one of them you do recognize as Lang DeRosa Cyanrath speaking through that camp. And it's not clear as day. It's a bit muffled as you kind of like try to get as close as you can. And you see those 4 sets of guards there standing with those guard drakes that are kind of like Komodo dragons basically on leashes. And as you kind of start to get a bit closer, the guard drakes kind of look at you and kind of and they just start like leaping at you a little bit, and the guards are like, whoa. Sorry then, mate. They get a bit spooked around here. And the guards are just like, the one who's like kind of holding him back is like being a bit kind about it. The other 3 are just,
yeah, I'm like nod and keep going. Like my attention is elsewhere. Like I don't care what's in that tent, you know. Are there guards on the hostages? Like specifically, can I spend a little bit more time on just like who's hanging around guarding, who's just hanging around there for the sake of like revelry and stuff, and who's stationed on the hostages?
Yeah. So you can see that some of the guards in that area, there's some that are stationed there. There's not very many at the time. There's kind of like, there's a lot of activity in this camp, like I said, so some are kind of coming and going. A few of the prisoners are kind of chained down to the ground with pegs with their manacles, so they're kind of just like sitting there just stuck. There's no one like properly guarding them at this time. There's nobody like stationed there like the more accredited and adorned tent at the end of this vicinity. But there's a couple of, and they are the black-robed metal mask cultists that are in this area, in this campground where the prisoners are. There's a couple that are kind of like hanging around. They're chatting to each other, talking about their spoils and that kind of thing, what they're going to eat later that night. But there's no one like stationed there like the higher up camp.
Okay. Is there, are they like, are the prisoners in a tent, or are they just out in the open?
There's a couple of makeshift tents for them, it seems. Very crude, just like a bit of material and like a peg or two to hoist it up. but some of the pegs are just in the open area at the moment.
Okay.
Just to like keep them there.
Okay. And we're kind of in this back section. There's more like masked people with the robes and like the official looking. So I kind of blend in more here.
Yeah.
Are there enough of them that I could kind of just like sit down and blend in, or is it like there's like 4 or 5 and I'm not gonna like me sitting down is gonna be more of an attention thing?
To which set? The one by the prisoners?
Yeah.
If you wanted to come over there and just sit next to them?
If I wanted to just kind of hang around this area by the prisoners and...
I mean, they're dressed very similar to you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really pre-cognitive be like, they'll react this way to me. You don't really know because you've never done this with them before. So it's more just see what happens kind of thing.
Is there only 4 there?
Yes. They're all kind of just sitting there like eating like some sort of meat on a makeshift plate from a long day's ride over here.
Okay, I think I'm gonna kind of work. I'm just gonna work my way back to the kobolds, that area, and listen to what they're saying. I want to measure the levels of discontent in the kobold area.
Of the kobold area. Okay, make a perception check.
22.
22. So you hear the kobolds kind of setting up their tent sites, and it is the most dilapidated looking out of all the tent sites. The materials aren't very good. There's a couple of scrapes and holes in their material, setting up with like crude sticks and things like that. A lot of like visibly as you're going on the campground, a lot of the humanoid figures are all starting to eat some food. Like it's sort of early afternoon. A lot of them starting to eat and get that nourishment, but the kobolds don't have any food. You don't see any meat near them. You don't see any food near them. One of them is trying to like kind of start a campfire, but not having a lot of luck. And as you come by because you speak Draconic, in Draconic, they're talking amongst themselves like, Dice, still this. Are we gonna take this anymore? I don't know if I can take it. 1 minute I'm getting punched in the back of the head. The next minute I'm being praised. I don't know which way to go.
Yeah, one of our friends, we don't know where they are. They're with instructors in the back, and they just bolted. We haven't seen them in hours. Maybe them too. I don't know what you want to do. I don't know. I'm here for Tiamat. That's why we're here. We're here for the dragons. Those are our lords. That's our way of life. We got to make sure we do our part. Yeah, but like, do the humans need to be a part of that? Like, what if Tiamat just wants to eat them? That's part of the ritual. Like, is that a thing that we can make happen?
And they're just like conversing back and forth about like their situation. They seem frustrated, but they're clearly here for Tiamat. Their whole way in life goes by praising dragons, and especially dragon gods. These kobolds especially. So they're here for a purpose. They're here to praise Tiamat, be a part of that, but they're getting very frustrated by the treatment of the other cultists.
Was I close enough to overhear that?
From there, have you just been kind of stationed there the whole time, just chilling?
Yeah, just like leaning on a tree, just like looking at my meal.
So if you're just kind of just hanging there, not really doing too much, as Apollo kind of makes his rounds back and comes to that area, make a perception check. 12. Yep. So you can also sort of make out the commotion of them just having these various conversations. You know, they're here for a reason. They're here to praise Tiamat. They're here to obey their dragon lords, but they're getting very, very frustrated over the cultist treatment of them so far.
Can I just immediately walk overhearing this and like seeing him try to start the fire and just say like in Draconic, like, hey, comrade, let me help you with that, and just like start helping him with the fire?
Yeah. As you come over and you're like, hey, let me help you with that, all the kobolds are like just plotting and scheming with them. They go, "Ugh." They seem a little off-put from your kindness. I'm going to have you roll charisma.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Why is it not letting me roll it? Did I do something here?
Oh, make sure at the bottom right you have an arrow And that's pointing up and not down.
What do you mean?
On the character sheet, it should just be a cursor.
Yeah, but it should say like there's an arrow that says like clear all. On the bottom left, if you got the die.
When I
Is it
click
pointing
on
up?
charisma, it just pulls out a sidebar about charisma or like.
Oh,
Oh, hit the
Go
the
down.
plus or minus number there. Don't hit the actual number on the charisma. Hit like the plus or
Oh.
minus box.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. 16.
16. So you come up to these kobolds and you're like, "Here, let me help you with that." They go. The one who's starting the fire just looks up at you. They did this weird thing of like, why is this person talking to us? Because nobody talks to them really out of kindness. Yeah, just give it a try, I guess. And it gives you the stones to be able to make the fire. Make a nature check for me.
Nature.
Ah, nature.
Or no, sorry, survival. It's survival.
Survival. Okay. Not 20.
Oh, so immediately you get the rocks and your fawn like lays with your servitor body kind of comes over. And you're like, let me help you out. Here you go. You take it and just kind of look at the brush. You kind of tell one like, probably should add a little bit more here. Okay. They kind of rush over, get some brushes and twigs. You're like, that's good. And just like one spark just ignites this huge brush out of nowhere that you kind of like magically kind of inclinated to do so, and this sort of abrupt fire just comes into light from the brush, and the kobolds just kind of go, good, yeah, really good. I like the way you did that, yeah.
Oh my god.
So you've lit the fire for them.
Okay.
Maybe we can find some food now and fucking eat. I'm starving. I haven't eaten all day. They're not sharing anything.
Can I steal some food from the big revelry in the center of the humans and stuff? Can I just grab like a few, I guess, like legs of whatever and chicken?
Which camp?
Where Avery's over by where Avery's sitting.
This one. Yeah, you can go over there. Do you want to steal it or do you want to make it known you're taking it?
Well, I'm gonna make it known. Like these are all bandits and stuff, and I'm in the mask. I'm gonna act like I'm, kind of above them a little bit, and just kind of come over and just be like,
Okay. So
Pick
you
it up.
come up from behind Avery here, and as you're getting close, you can hear him kind of having this jovial, almost sort of slightly drunken conversation as he's a couple tankards deep. He's like, and if I saw that Leonid, I'd stomp on his tail and just hit him in the face. And you see him like ramping up with the other guards and how he'd take out Arcturion.
And Avery would never get fully drunk. He'd always be like little like Bruce Wayne, where he's like, I'm drinking this, but he pour it out. So he'd be like, I'm totally drinking, but not really.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of come up and almost like I'm kind of looking down at them as I like take some of the food. I'm like, I don't want to talk to them. Like, take the food and go. Like, but a decent chunk, like 2 legs. I don't know what kind of food there is, but like if I can get 2 like turkey leg size things, just go.
So not being sneaky about it, just going up and taking 2 turkey legs.
I'm better than you. I'm taking this. That's like,
Hey, where you going with that?
I'm gonna look back and go, oh, you puny drunkards aren't the only ones who need to eat. And I'm just gonna keep.
Hey, no. Hey.
They all brandish their swords.
Dude, let him take it. It's just, we got so much food anyways. He probably
No,
needs it.
that's our fucking meat. We had it. We hunted it. It's ours. Get your own goddamn meat there, son.
I serve the great Tiamat, just like you, or at least you supposedly do. I will take this meat as an offering to the great Tiamat, and I will take it with the mountains of gold. How much gold did you achieve? How much gold did you raid? I doubt as much as I did. Were your offerings as great to the Dragon Queen as I?
Roll charisma check.
Just
Also,
charisma,
can I
not like
hear all of
persuasion? Like, because
These are going to be charisma checks every time you interact with these people.
18.
Okay. So as you go down there, go up to them and say that they're like, Well, I don't know. I stole a few effigies from the church. Thought that was pretty good. Well, I took some coins from that what was that bookstore in the town. Yeah, I raided that place super good. You were part of that burning too, right? Oh yeah, we burned that place pretty good. We really did. Yeah, books are stupid. Yeah, who fucking knew that? And they just start laughing, and they go, "You know, friend, don't worry about it. It's fine. We're all in this together. It's okay. You just go ahead. It's fine. You can take the leg. Weird to give a leg as a promise to Tiamat. They would like taking leg. I don't know, but that's fine. It's fine. You go.
I'm gonna make a note of these 3. Is it 3 of them that are talking about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna memorize their faces. I'm gonna take a moment just so I recognize them later. Okay, and I'm gonna take the meat over to where there are like several bunches of kobolds, right? So like Arlie sat down with one, and there's like others.
There's like a good 20 or 25 of them in this camp.
I'm gonna go to just another one, and I'm gonna kind of bring the meat. Specifically, is there one that doesn't have a fire or anything yet? Or
in this camp, Arlie made the fire for them, so this campground has a fire going.
So I'm just gonna find another group and just kind of sit down, bringing all the meat, and just kind of walk up and just wordless, just hand it to them. Just pick some. Just gonna kind of go. These damn humans in Draconic, just humans, high elves, they're all pains in the butt.
I know, right? I know. We were the first ones to
Exactly.
to worship
Exactly.
Tiamat. We were the ones that praised her way before
Really?
the time. All these pretenders coming around thinking they're the ones that need to hunt them. This is just ridiculous.
You know what they're saying? You know, I just went over there to get some food for you guys, and you know what they're saying? They're saying you don't even like Tiamat. They're saying you're just here for the money. I told them, I said, no, that's not how that works. These ones were here first. These kobolds, these great kobolds, were the first servants of the dragons. And I'm just gonna start ranting about like how awful humans are and all this other stuff.
That's a lie. Traxia didn't even know what money was until 2 days ago. Isn't that right? Yeah, I didn't even know what it fucking was.
Yeah, you know what? Myself and my brethren, my inhuman brethren, we've been planning a little activity to put the humans in their place, you know. And I just want to let you know, if you hear something, you'll know the signal when you see it, when you hear it. You jump on those humans. We're gonna put those humans in their place. They're gonna know who praises Tiamat more. The kobolds and the inhumans are much better than these uncultured, stupid humans. You know what they were saying? They were saying you kobolds aren't very intelligent. They were saying you were a dung beetle is more intelligent than you, and I couldn't take that. I said, hey, don't talk that way about the first servants of the dragon. And I'm looking one-on-one. I'm like talking to the whole group. Like I'm talking to them. I'm like,
you're using a few very big words for them to understand first. And there's some things you say, they're kind of like, I don't know what to say, really. They just kind of like look around to you like, Trax, did you get intelligent a while ago? Wasn't that what happened after your cut on your leg? No, it wasn't intelligent. It was tetanus. Right. And so you're trying to like rabble them up a bit, kind of get them riled up. Make a persuasion roll.
19. So as you're doing that, like, they're like kind of looking at each other, like kind of yeah, he's right. Yeah, I don't know why we treat so badly. Like, well, and one kind of like raises his hands, like, well, it depends what Tiamat wants, right? Everyone. I mean, if Tiamat wants them to be
You think Tiamat likes humans?
Well,
No. Tiamat appreciates the kobolds more than anything else. If anything, the first to go in Tiamat would take out the humans first, just because of the disrespect they've put on the kobolds.
I'm tired of being dead last. Aren't you tired of being dead last and everything around here? Yeah, we're the last to eat. Yeah.
Throwing a few other yes, just in different voices. Just yeah.
As you shout that, No one hears you.
Good. And I'm gonna go. All right, I've got to go deal with it. I've got to go deal with these humans. I will be back, my brethren. Be prepared. Be prepared.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna head off and I'm gonna like wave at him over my shoulder like comrades.
Wait, and one of them looks over and goes, wait, tabaxis are brethren? So,
Inhumans together. Yeah.
They just seem kind of they're very easily kind of manipulative and confused some of the time, these kobolds. So they're just like, these kobolds are kind of bottom of the barrel a little bit, and just through you smooth talking, you just elated them into a frenzy, and they're like, yeah, and they're just kind of like excited for something's gonna happen. We're gonna get on top of this. They don't really know what exactly, but they're excited.
Did I hear this? And
oh yeah, you're right there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So you're hearing all this happen. You're kind of just like, as they're kind of getting excited, you're like, yeah. You're just kind of like going along with it, what Apollo is kind of doing. But as they're kind of like all munching down on the turkey legs, they kind of throw their way. They start to eat, which are very appreciative.
Can I kind of add to that too?
Yeah, totally.
So I just wanted to, in Draconic, be like, I was watching when he went over and got those turkey legs, and they drew swords on him. So I suspect maybe they're planning an attack tonight, and maybe we should beat them to it.
They drew swords on him? They drew swords on us all the time. Isn't that right, Trax? Yeah. They do it all the time.
They want to fight, and I think we should strike first when they're not expecting. Right? Apollo?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should talk to Resmi about this. Maybe he knows about these followers.
Who do you think I'm talking? I received orders directly from Resmir, and you know what? Those humans are so disrespectful. Have you seen them? They draw swords on all of us Inhumans, even the High Elves too. And the High Elves are awful people, terrible people. If you ever see an elf, punch an elf for me. Elves are terrible people, right? And I'm gonna.
Party is weird. Yeah, party is weird. Yeah,
I'm using a lot of hand signals as like in emphasizing. Yeah.
Okay. The encampments around you don't seem to take any interest in you kind of rabbling up these group of kobolds. You're kind of like, you're not shouting it to the moon, obviously. You're kind of keeping it hush-hush, but they're very excited, and no one's kind of taking like a notice to your discussions with them.
Spread the word. Spread the word to all the other kobold brethren. When the time comes, we all must strike at once to put these humans in their place. We must show them the true followers of the dragon.
Yes, if you see a scuffle, it's because we've begun the battle and just start attacking the humans. We'll start it perhaps tonight.
Be prepared.
Definitely don't be alert, though, in case any crazy things are going on.
Arlie, I'm going to make you roll a persuasion roll now.
Okay.
Can I, like, assist because I've been standing, like, behind her? Like,
yeah, if you want to back her up.
Yeah.
I got 11.
So he'll give you advantage as you're both kind of lethal weaponing this whole situation.
11 was the high one.
11 was the high one, but it is good enough as you're both like bolstering this. Like, we're gonna get these. You're describing the situation in that Inhumans are the real followers of Tiamat. Anyone who's human is just piece of shit, and they're not worth the love that Tiamat can bestow upon all their dirty deeds, for all their worth, for all the mistreatment they've done on kobolds and all the other races that aren't human. And they're starting to kind of believe you, and they're getting riled. It's like, yeah, fuck these people. And they're just kind of they're buying into what you're saying.
I'm gonna take my leave before I make a mistake.
Yeah.
Same. I'm gonna follow Apollo.
All right. Where are you guys head to?
What's going on in the tents like over here?
In the tents over there.
Yeah.
You kind of we'll say you kind of made your way over there as you're doing your roundabout. You look inside and you don't see anyone inside. It seems empty, just like empty bedrolls, maybe a couple pouches here and there. As you kind of look down the ground, you can kind of see tracks kind of going between that encampment into the front of the higher, highly more detailed encampment that they're guarding. You can surmise this is probably where those guards sleep.
Okay. Is there... no, I don't want to mess with it. I'm not going to mess with it. All right, so I'm gonna work over to just back over, kind of not joining in with the group of other like cultists, but just kind of hanging out around the outside. Maybe grab like I don't want to grab anything that requires me to lift up the mask, so I'm just gonna kind of like sit there. Maybe take out a notebook or like find a piece of paper or something to draw on, and just kind of sit over. Actually, I have a lyre. Can I sit like against a tree and like play the lyre and like idly just strumming my lyre?
Strumming your lyre?
Well,
yeah,
just like, do I know of any like classical, like almost like praising draconic songs or like dragon songs or tunes or something like that?
Roll a history check.
6.
6. Nah, you can't really remember anything at the top of your head. You're kind of in this highly stressed situation where you're trying to keep your cool, but there's so many enemies around you, and you're seeing these prisoners ahead. You see Leosin in the distance. You've got 2 friends out in the mountainous terrain. It's kind of hard for you to kind of like remember any kind of like notable song that they would kind of recognize.
Is Arlie with me still?
It's up to Arlie. She followed you around.
Yeah, I was just following you.
Yeah.
Just kind of, if we can like sit down together and just kind of like eating, talking, that kind of idly playing the lyre, kind of.
Blending.
It's like when you go to a party and everyone showed up already and you're just a little bit late. Everyone's cordoned off into their own groups, like their social groups. It's like we've done that next to this other group of cultists and the group of cultists with Avery and
wallflowers over here.
Yeah, we're the cool kids. And just kind of hang out and kind of observe for a while, I think.
Okay. As you are doing that, you're sitting down, kind of some of the leftover meat that you didn't give the kobolds, you kind of take that with you as you're kind of munching down. I'll take it back to Arcturion and Amara. Did the 2 of you just want to keep where you are, wait for the dead of night, or did you want to advance at all?
I would like to move up a little bit, just obviously stay away from the edge there, so we're a little less seen. Okay. But I'm gonna leave it up to Amara because I made the last choice.
Yeah, let's go.
You can get to around like this area if you wanted to get up a little bit. Again, these rocks here along this side are about like 4 to 10 feet tall, so they do kind of shelter that edge of the mountainside there, of that rocky sort of slide. So you do have a little bit of cover on that side.
Okay, yeah, let's move up. And then while we're moving, I'm going to just point to the clouds and be like, Arcturion, isn't it beautiful outside?
Very wonderful outside. Now pay attention.
But it's so pretty. Look at all these things.
You want to transform into a creature that could handle this terrain without doing things and tripping and falling? I would suggest.
All right, as you guys move forward, make your stealth checks.
Making a stealth check, crossing my fingers.
21.
Nice.
Oh, good God. 4.
Okay. As you kind of make your way over here, once again, like you're kind of out of the brush and the forestry at this point. This is just kind of like dirt, rock, rubble. You're kind of laying low, kind of using the cover of those pointy rocks to kind of block your cover. But again, you're kind of like whispering to each other a little bit. Your footsteps kind of crunch against the ground and the rocks and pebbles as you move forward. But then once again, you're kind of just keeping low the ground. and Arctron, you kind of just kind of fall down, and your face just kind of smacks things around. Damn it! You kind of just wince a bit, and you are not able to really see this, but one of the guards over here hears some rubble being rustled around up top, kind of hears a bit of a wince. He's like, shit! You kind of stop for a minute. And he kind of just takes a point and just starts to move over in this direction.
But he doesn't see us.
Can't see you from that side up, but he just heard some commotion kind of going up there.
Fine.
And he just starts moving kind of closer towards that area.
We shall sit down and wait.
If Arlie and Apollos is right there, could they maybe help distract that guy from leaving?
Up to them. I mean, you guys are kind of close by. They're kind of apart from them, kind of sitting down and eating. I'll have Arlie and Apollo. You can either both roll perception or one of you do it at advantage.
I think both. But give it a shot.
Do one each?
Yeah. Okay. 6.
So as you're just kind of busy eating and kind of like whispering to each other about like what your next moves are, you do not hear that kind of far off distant sound of something kind of approaching in that top of the ground there, the mountainside. But as you two kind of move your position closer, we'll go over to Avery as you're kind of doing your best Bruce Wayne impression with these other cultists here. Was there any other sort of piece of information you want to try to obtain? Do you want to explore the campsite a little bit? What are you up to?
I am here simply, I've already gotten a good bit of information. We learned that the treasure is in the cave. I don't want to press my luck. My thing is just to blend in, do some reconnaissance, just see what you can hear. Because I don't have the highest charisma, so I'm not over there trying to charm people. I'm just using it whenever I have to. So I think that it'd be best for me just to sit back and let them drive and steer the conversation, and for me to blend in to the crowd.
Okay, so you're just gonna kind of stay put and just be hanging out?
Kind of wait until nightfall. If I happen to hear something, then great. But otherwise, I'm not going to be testing my luck.
Okay. We'll do another round just to go around if anyone wants to do any last minute things. And then if everyone wants to, we can advance to nightfall if you want. But after that, you just kind of, Apollo and Arlie kind of hear off in the distance, the loud sort of laugh of Avery kind of bolstering with different fellow cultists that you see him just like smash those tankards, just like making friends with everybody, really blending in with everyone else. But as you guys are kind of finishing up your meal in that sort of near where the prisoners are, you see the sun kind of getting a little bit lower. The day is kind of going on. You're getting near like the 6 o'clock kind of time period where the sun's starting to get down a bit lower. Dusk is approaching. Anything you wanted to do before nightfall comes?
I'm just going to look at Arlie and go, what? Okay, let's think in hypotheticals here, because I'm assuming we're alone here. It's just kind of a conversation.
Again, there's kind of people generally walking all over, like near you. There's no one like beside you, but like it's not something that you want to speak out in the open. You could talk a bit hushly, but there are people around you just walking, doing various tasks.
Hypothetically, if I killed Avery, what? I mean, in our duel, how would that make you feel? How long have you known each other again? Your childhood friends?
Why do you ask, Apollo?
I'm just curious. We have time to spare and just sitting here. Why not?
We've known each other for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer that you didn't kill him, but...
Insight check.
I think she's being truthful.
18.
Hard to read.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I will try not to kill him. And if I happen to, I won't. but I'm sure Amara would help with her wonderful healing powers. I'm just gauging the room a bit. I know a bit about Ark. I know I want to fight Avery. Amara scares me a little bit, and you're a bit of a mystery, so I'm just figuring things out.
So you're saying that when you do this little duel with Avery, you're worried that it might upset me, or?
Well, I'm worried when I come out on top of your childhood friend, you might try and step in. Maybe protect him a bit. And I'd just like you to know that even if he dies, he will be brought back.
He won't need protection.
You're not here, shut up.
Yeah, I don't even know why we're having this conversation, Apollo. I mean, have you seen Avery? Have you looked at him ever? Have you seen him fight?
Yes.
Let me just say, I don't think that hand-to-hand combat would end in your favor. But
How much do you want to bet on that?
let's say, just hypothetically here, Apollo. Let's just say that you rolled a natural 1, okay? Yes, I would help him.
Okay, but does that mean you rushing to his side or attacking me? Do I need to look out for an arrow over my back if I get a good hit on him? That's what I'm asking.
If it's a fair fight and he consents to this, I'm not gonna fight dirty for him, but I'll be watching closely.
An honorable individual, I see. All right. Well,
But if you fight dirty, I will as well.
I think you and I need to have our own little competition at some other point, but you know, that's non-violent. We'll just see who's faster.
See who's faster. You want to have a foot race with a service.
I do believe I would like that. Yes, very much.
You're on.
I believe each of you is getting 200 something gold, and at some point, and that's kind of hushed, by the way. That's like a certain amount of money at some point, and I'm sure, with how confident you are, you wouldn't be opposed to putting that down.
Sure, why not?
Making a note of that. And, well, you know, I think when we are, and I'm speaking a little bit louder, I think when the great Tiamat rises again, I think we will all be great, her graces. I'm gonna go back to playing the lyre.
Roll a charisma check.
14?
As soon as you say that, like, Tiamat in all her glory, just a few cultists around you are like, ah! They all just like lift up their hands and accreditation to what you've said.
Good.
But from there, we will pan back over to Arcturion and Amara, trying to make your way through this very difficult terrain up here, all the shale rock, loose ground. You've tripped a couple times, you've made a couple loud sounds, but you think no one's heard you, you think you're okay. Did you want to stay here or advance a little bit more?
I want to get close so I can at least release Leosin.
Okay.
Okay, here's... Go ahead.
I like can't do it without someone helping me actually, like, you know. Arcturion, maybe.
Okay. Am I able to take off my armor and leave it in just an area so that way I lose that disadvantage of stealth?
Yep. You would have to take down, so you could unattune or uncheck the armor you have in your equipment, I believe, and that'll lower your AC score, so you'll be easier to hit, but you won't have a disadvantage on stealth. But if you like place it somewhere, you could come back and grab it if you need to.
Oh wait, actually, Kevin, did you say that the prisoners were in chains or rope? And what about Leosin? I can't remember.
Leosin is this half elf in his adorned sort of blue and white monk robes, roped up to a peg, basically, like a giant wood structure with an X, kind of like a peg and an X on it, and he's just strapped to it. The prisoners all have like ironclad handcuffs on their hands. There's a couple of them that are kind of like a giant peg is in the ground with their chains kind of linked to, so they can't go anywhere. And there's a couple that have just been going to and from that cave entrance to that encampment.
Okay, never mind. I don't need Arctreon to help me save Leosin because I can probably just bite through the rope and release him. So I could go to Leosin while you stay and wait until it's good to release the prisoners.
Yep, I think I'm just gonna wait here.
Okay, I will join you shortly. I'll miss you forever a long time. Okay.
So, as you wait and position yourself to execute your very brilliant, thought-out plan of rescuing the prisoners and Leosin, the sun starts to go down. Those of you in the encampment have talked with fellow cultists, kind of ingrained yourself into this mishmash collection of bandits and raiders as the sun slowly descends past the tree line and stars start to come into the night sky. We're going to take our break. Hey! So we're going to take a quick 10-minute break here, everyone, just so we can refill drinks, stretch the legs, and then we will come right back and finish off the second part of this adventure. So we'll see if the prison rescue is successful. So we'll be right back, everyone. Don't go away. 10 minutes. And we're back. Hello, everybody. Thank you for letting us stretch the legs and grab some drinks for the second part of this prison break rescue. Maybe you'll die. I don't know. We'll find out right now. As the party made their way towards the dragon cultist encampment, they gleaned a few pieces of information from the camp, most notable being that the huge hoard of treasure that they've taken from multiple different settlements is they now know for sure it is in this cave entrance somewhere. But after gleaming some information and trying to incite a cobalt rebellion, they have decided to wait until the cover of night to advance the second part of their plan. And as the sun falls down beneath the trees, night starts to take hold of the encampment. So, as you've waited for night to fall, you are now seemingly with the cover of night to attempt to see if you can free these prisoners and Leosin himself. So, with Arctreon and Amara waiting in the wings in that upper part of that mountainous terrain, Apollo and Arlie and Avery are in the encampment. Where are you guys currently? Are you all still separated? Have you made your way together? It's been a couple hours have passed as it kind of falls into nighttime. It's probably like around 8, 9 p.m. at this point. Would you have all kind of reconvened at this point?
I think
go for it, Apollo.
I think we're still just like, at least Arlie and I are just sitting here.
Probably smart for us to stay separate from Avery right now.
Yeah, okay. And a little bit kind of sitting close enough that we can watch the guards on the hostages as well, and just like take note, like, okay, who's going to sleep, who's where, close enough to watch the guards and figure out what's going on.
Okay. So as you are kind of picking your spots, trying to make sure you guys aren't too close together, Avery, you're kind of still with your drinking buddies. They're all kind of now, a part of them they've from drinking for several hours. A good chunk of the cultists that you're hanging out with, some of them have kind of gone off to bed. Some are kind of passed out on their bed rolls with their empty tankards just rolling off their chest onto the ground. Some of them have gone off to kind of do patrols and things like that, as you kind of just having idle chit-chat by the fire. The two of you, Apollo and Arlie, you've kind of just hunkered down for a bit and just have sort of chatted with cultists as they've passed by. There was a big sort of dinner banquet for all the people in this encampment. Those roasts that you saw, the venison and different wildlife. There's several campfires going on, cooking them for the rest of the camp members. But now it's kind of gone into night mode. There are sort of sentry guards kind of patrolling around the area. Various cultists have kind of gone off to bed, but you still see there is a little bit of a bevy of activity within the campground. Not as lively as it was before, but there are still several guards and such kind of patrolling around. There's a couple of people coming in between that cave entrance. The prisoners are all at their encampment currently. So they're all grouped together as of right now. So it is up to you what you would like to do moving forward. There are a couple of those dragon cultists that are hanging about that area currently.
Are there prisoners, like, have they been put in their tents yet, or like for the night kind of thing? Or are they still out in the open?
There's a couple, like, they're all kind of chained together. So where that peg was, there's a bunch of metal link chain kind of attached itself to each of the individual prisoners. Some have able to use that length to go inside of a tent to kind of try to get some sleep. Some are just curled up outside on the grass. Their chain isn't long enough to take them to their camp.
And there's still like 4 designated kind of guards on them, or like around.
Yeah, they're not, like, as you've been kind of surveying them for a while, I wouldn't say that they are guards per se. They're not standing there, stake in hand. They're kind of just moving around. Some are getting some provisions and kind of walking about the camp, but they're not stationed there sentry-wise. Right now, they're kind of like, it looks like they're gathering materials to maybe do a patrol.
Is it okay? All of them, or like?
There's one kind of hanging out here, that's currently in his tent, chilling. But these 3 here are getting ready to kind of like move out.
All right, I'm gonna kind of whisper to Arlie and go, okay. All right, these 3 right here are going, and I'm like talking like where my mouth isn't moving, and also I have the mask on anyway, so I can't. I'm just kind of like leaning into her. I'm kind of like leaning on her, almost like I was drunk a little bit, like just kind of, or tired, just. But Arlie, I'm thinking when these 3 set off, I'm going to go over there and try and free the prisoners, or at least get them out of the chains, let them know what's going on. And my only worry is the one in the tent. We could either leave him be and hope he doesn't hear anything, or I could sneak in there and try and kill him first. I could slit his throat and quietly and quickly. But there could be an issue if he notices. So I might need your help with that. But I'm thinking if you can be aware of that, but if you can kind of stand guard here and just let me know or give me some notification if someone's coming back to this area where they might see me, just kind of let me know and I can stand up and move away or hide if I need to.
I could go in the tent and
how big is the tent?
It's an okay size. Like, the prisoner tents are obviously much less intact than the cultist tents are, but it's good for like one single occupant. It's not like a big tent.
Could Arlie fit in the tent?
I mean, yeah.
With another person?
2 of you would be a bit tight.
Me and the guy that's already in there.
Yeah. Okay. So it's good. It's roomy for one person. 2 people could snugly kind of get in there.
I'm thinking if we could possibly. Okay.
Apollo's been poisoned.
Yeah.
Plan is off.
We could technically, if you have your arrow out,
or you could stand behind me, and that way it's guaranteed we kill this dude real quick. Because I'm thinking if there's just one of us, if there's one thing I'm good at, it's assassination.
Yes. See, and I'm saying I go in the tent first. he doesn't know that you're coming in behind me. And I turn him around, try to seduce him, make him think I'm there to seduce him, turn him around so his back is to you while you assassinate.
You have that in you.
Of
You can-
course I do. And I like swish my little deer.
I just want to. I'm excited to hear Arlie trying to like dirty talk whatever this.
Is this dude even awake?
I'm excited.
Oh my god.
Man, just
We
the,
can-
like, huh?
It's the tent is thin enough that like, could I technically, like, if there's an open entrance and it's like a tent, could I like literally lift up the other end of the tent and stab him, or is it like a fully enclosed thing?
You can certainly try.
Well, I mean, what kind of tent is it? Like, is it just a tarp over a pipe?
Like a teepee tent with like a very sturdy material that's like on pegs in the ground. You know,
One entrance.
yeah, there's like kind of one open entrance. You're not sure if there's a bottom to it necessarily, like material wise. Like you'd have to kind of get closer to kind of make it out.
Mhm.
You could try, like if it's a material that's kind of pegged on either side to the ground, if there's no bottom to it, no floor, and it's just the ground, you could probably get your fingers on there and try to lift it up.
See, but Apollo, if I go in, right?
Do you actually just want to seduce this dude? Is this
No.
what it?
Absolutely not. I'm just saying I could easily get him to turn toward me with his back to the entrance where you come in and slit his throat from behind. He won't make a sound.
Oh, so you're trying. Oh, I see. So you're getting his back turned to the entrance.
Yes. That way you don't risk him seeing you with your weapon and screaming first, you know?
Okay. I'm fully okay with that. Once these three set off, you do your magic. We see how that goes, and I will be ready nonetheless. And then we take him out, and you kind of watch out. I'll free the prisoners, and let's hope that Amara and Ark are paying attention.
Yes.
And then I guess we wait for the three to set off.
Okay. At this point, nighttime has come. Oh, Amara. Oh, you're way over there.
Oh yeah, I wanted to move before nightfall so I could be there.
Oh, okay, so
Can I
that's
roll
what
stealth?
that's what we were. Sorry, that's what we were determining before when nightfall. When I was like, "Did you
Yeah.
guys want to move?" and you guys seemed that you wanted to stay there. Did you want to move before nightfall?
No,
Now
Ark is staying. I'm moving.
he's staying, so you were moving before nightfall. Okay, make another stealth check really quick then.
Because I wanted to get close enough to Leosin. 5.
5. Okay. I'll just say, just because we weren't able to figure that out, that with that 5, 2 of the guards are staying and 2 of the guards are leaving.
Okay.
So as you make your way kind of over there,
Yes.
and Arcturion, you stayed as well?
Yeah, I stayed there. Yeah, I'm moving.
Okay. So as nightfall comes, you kind of see these 2 that now there was 3, but there are 2 of them that are kind of gathering their gear. And you notice that the other 2 guards in that vicinity went to their tents for the night to kind of rest. So as these 2 make their way out of the area, seems like everyone, like there's a few people here going to sleep for the night, but you see them leave. What do you do next? And Avery, what are you doing as this is happening?
Right. Well, I think the plan was for me to be able to get down here and help them unchain the prisoners, correct? So I'm going to make my way over towards them.
Okay. So you're around your buddies who are kind of like, some of them are passed out, some are still having conversation. Are you trying to kind of like get out unseen, unnoticed?
I'm just going to say I got to pee, and I'm going to leave.
Okay.
I have to pee.
Yeah. I use the bathroom. And then
All right. So to go to the bathroom, you just kind of leave this way and then
come around, circle around.
walk around.
Yeah.
I'll have you roll a deception really quick.
Okay. 4.
4. So as you are so hold on, we'll look at that. So As you're going towards the trees that are clearly close to you, and you start to bank and go around, one of the guards still awake is like, "Hey, what? Just fucking go in the trees, dude. We don't fucking care."
Yeah, I saw a gross spider web. Didn't like it. I'm gonna go use the other tree. That way, it's further away from us, anyways. You ain't gotta smell that. It's a lot better in the long run.
No, it's fine, mate. It's fine. It's fine. Go ahead. We piss in front of each other all the time. Yeah. Show 'em my
This
day.
is not just a piss, though. This is a serious situation. That beer did not agree with me.
Oh, you got to do a bit of a 1 and 2, the elusive 3.
Exactly. It's gonna be real ugly. Number 3. Yeah.
3. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Roll a deception one more
Oh
time.
goodness. 18.
Oh god, yeah, my brother, he got another elusive 3 once. It was horrible, mate. No, get that shit away from us. Just go. It's fine. I don't want any piece of it.
Nice. Nice.
Get your pants. Really convince them.
So you kind of scuttle your way away from the campsite to get farther away from them. You slowly meet up with your compadres over here.
Right. So what's the plan?
I'm just gonna turn and go.
Just observe. And I.
Arlie's going to seduce one of them.
This should be funny.
Yes. Okay. But so there's 2 of them. So
Shut
we
up,
just
Avery.
we could go. Avery, you could go with Arlie and take on one while I take the other simultaneously. We could try that.
I don't know. It'd be really funny to watch her always seduce somebody.
It would. It would really.
Okay. All right. But we could do that though. We can go take.
Yeah. Well, she's got to start, and then I'll just like when it seems like she's kind of turned him around, then
I will say you're going to be a lot stealthier than I am. I'm rolling at a disadvantage.
You don't need to be stealthy. You just need to kill him before he shouts.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, I'm going to have his back turned to you, and as soon as I do, you know what?
I'll kill him.
Yeah.
Got it.
Maybe I'll have I'll have like a word that I'll say, and that's how you know that it's safe for you to come up inside the tent and slit his throat.
Got you.
The word will be venison.
All right.
That's the signal, and you
Kinky.
know that it's safe to get.
Is that cannibalism for you?
Yeah.
Don't question me, Apollo.
I'm getting a piece of venison.
So is
Sorry.
this other guy though down below him? Is he? Oh, he is in a tent. Okay.
Yeah, they're both in tents currently.
Okay.
Amara and Arcturion, you're trying to keep kind of a bead on the area from up top, even though there's some sort of terrain in your way. You're able to kind of sort of look past some crevices in the rocks and trying to just see anything that could. Well, it is nighttime too, actually, so that'll be a bit of a hardship. But
Telescope.
I have night.
no, it's true. You got a telescope as well. Arcturion, make a perception check at advantage, really quick for me.
Yes, sir. Perception. Oh, good thing I had that. 2 and
3.
14.
Yeah.
Ooh, 14. Okay. So as you're kind of like waiting for a signal, anything to kind of happen, you're kind of just generally just surveying the area, making sure you know exactly like who's where and where the exits are if something goes down. And for you, that tent by the cave entrance, the one that's in the very much more highly adorned material, a bit more of a guarded encampment, your eye just keeps kind of going there. You seem very intrigued by it as you have a personal vendetta against one of these dragon cultist commanders, whatever they call themselves. You kind of are searching that way, and every so often that scar in your shoulder just kind of winces and stings a bit every time you make your eye over there. And as you can see your friends kind of gingerly, casually trying to meet up with each other and make their next move, you're kind of just surveying the area, and your eyesight goes over to that bigger tent set up with the guards inside. And you notice somebody come out of it.
Ooh.
As 2 humanoid figures make their way out of the tent entrance over here. Tentrance, if you will. One of them being Langdarosa Signwrath, the blue dragonborn you had fought, still adorned in that purple and gold armor, having that spear by his side, that long sword in that purple sheath along his belt. But he is followed by another human figure, a female human. This one in particular has sort of tan skin, black hair that's short, almost in like a pixie cut, bangs that kind of swoop down this way. Weird. And she is also wearing a very eclectic adornment of gold and purple robes. She has this cloak that kind of comes down, sort of waves down past her knees and past her legs. These very long, spiked out purple armaments on her shoulders. This gold collar that kind of brings everything together over here. This sort of leather strap belt that kind of saddles off to the side, and this kind of gold eye as a buckle, wearing these hard purple armored adornments on her forearms and around her hands. There's these sort of black leather gloves with this gold outlined purple armor covering the top side of her hands. And as the armament goes down, she's wearing kind of this black leather pants with these sort of gold armored boots that are also have these various spikes kind of jettisoning out from the design that also have this gold outline around them. And she's carrying this massive staff with this huge curved blade at the top of it. And as they kind of exit this tent, they kind of are talking to each other, they give each other a nod. And Langdarosa makes his way over to the cave. Over there. It disappears in the cave entrance.
Into the cave, okay.
Yeah, going into the cave. But this female starts to make her way over to Leosin.
And is there a way that we at the top can see her doing this?
So Archeon, with that advantage, has that telescope out, is seeing her like talk to Langdarosa and walking down this way. I'll have you make a perception check just to see if you can kind of make this person coming towards Leosin through the rock for you, Amara.
$23.
23. Whew. Yeah, so you also notice this strange female figure in the dead of night kind of starting to walk towards Leosin as well. She's kind of lit by a luminous campfire and torches and things like that in the campgrounds. But kind of makes her way over there. You're too far away to hear what she is saying to him, but you just notice this figure kind of going up to him and starting to like slapping his face a little bit, trying to wake him up.
Can I get closer to Leosin again?
How close are you trying to get?
Still up on the rocks. But
So
I want to move my 30 feet.
around there?
I want to move slightly more to the right, like lower.
Over here?
Like, yeah.
So this portion, like starting from here over here, this is very, very rocky. It'll be difficult terrain. So that's half your movement when you're in there. So you won't have 30 feet to move. Once you hit that line, it's 15.
I'm just going to turn into a spider then, right now.
Yeah?
And while I'm moving, I'm going to start like webbing and making some webs all along there.
What for? Question mark.
So when I make my web, I don't get any like movement hindrance. And also anyone that touches my web, I'll know exactly where they are.
Okay.
And I believe they also get hindered from my web.
I think it's something like an entanglement kind of deal. You're transforming to a giant spider. Is that what it is?
Giant wolf spider, yeah.
Giant wolf spider. Spider climb. Spider sense.
Oh wait, and didn't we have Leosin's collar thingy? Whatever it was, bracelet? Choker? Okay.
Yeah.
Before I turn into it, can I just put his like choker on my arm? So like
on your spider arm?
Yeah.
Kind of hard to do as you transform into a giant spider and you've got this little collar in front of you and your spider legs are like and Archeon, you kind of see Amara in the distance in the night kind of just transform into this giant spider, and then you see her in her giant spider form kind of and with her pincers are trying to like pick up this collar and just like keeps fumbling it down. Did you want to go over and try to help her put it on her leg?
I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know if it's worth risking the stealth.
I believe in you.
Not.
You could, Amara. You could just come and like pick it up with your pincers and just like hold it in your mouth if you wanted to.
Okay, I'll do that.
But just putting it on your physically like clasping it on, you need digits for that.
Okay. I'll just hold it in my mouth.
Okay. So unhindered by the difficult terrain, as a giant spider, you got 40 feet of movement with the climb and everything. So you can get around here.
Yeah, I'll get right there.
Okay. Beautiful.
I can't move it if you can move me.
Oh, wait. That's the token. So you kind of slink your way over to that side and arch around. You just see this giant wolf spider just emerge through Amara as these legs kind of just split out of her form, and you see her skin just crawl off and crack like a snake shedding their skin, and it's just not pretty. It looks really like sickening and weird. And
I thought my rage was bad. I hate spiders.
But as you do that, you want to try to listen in on whatever conversation is going down between the two of them?
Yes, and I'm going to keep like webbing all around there while I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm briefly going to go get something out of my eye. I'll be right back.
Okay. So I'll have you roll perception again, and this time you use the giant spider stats. So it has a +3 to perception for the spider.
So how would I roll?
So roll a d20 just naturally.
Okay.
And then just add 3 to whatever the roll is.
15.
15. Okay. So as this woman kind of makes her way up to Leosin, kind of goes up to him, just like, hey, wake up. Hey, wake up. And you just see like this bruised, like thin visage of Leosin just just starts coughing. And he's like, oh, right. My apologies. Reaches in through her many flappings of purple and gold robes and pulls out this water skin. It's like, takes off the top and starts pouring water into his face, to his mouth. He's like, there you go. There you go. And as he's just roped up to trying to drink as much as he can, I forgot they were taking it a bit hard on you. My fault. I'm sorry, my dear boy. Hey, is that better? I'm not going to tell you anything, no matter how hard you beat the crap out of me. Well, I won't be doing the beating, my dear man. Many cultists here would be happy to take my place for that, although I did get a couple good shots in yesterday, I feel. He's just laying there. What? Just kill me already. Get it over with. Oh, my dear friend, that'll happen tomorrow. I think that'll really rally the crew to have a good morning execution for you, but quite a bit of stroke of luck, really. I mean, our spies from the Sword Coast heard there was somebody investigating and snooting around in our business, but for you to be at Green Nest at that time? What a coincidence, eh? And he can barely talk. He's just so gaunt and just clear bruising and scarring all over him. He's barely able to to really get a response out of anything. And as he's just kind of hung up there on this effigy, she just comes to him. Sure there's nothing else you want to tell us, my friend? Got any others involved in your interests? In your crazy obsession with us? Like I'd ever tell you. I suspected as much. And she has her giant long staff with this huge curved blade at the end of it, just kind of points it at his face. You see some cut marks also on his face, Amara, that are clearly like all around him. And she's just like, you know, it's hard when you're trying to paint a portrait, when you're trying to do a bit of art. It's just hard to find the right brushstroke to get that last little. And she just like puts the blade next to a part of his face that she hasn't cut yet and just starts to just dig into his cheek. And you see a bit of blood start to drip down his face. He's like it's clearly he's in pain, but he's so weak that he can't like move his head away or anything. He's just taking it and just like wincing down. Think I got it now. We'll finish the rest of the art tomorrow morning, eh? And he can barely talk. He's just just coughing. Well, you're not very fun now, are you? You're much more sprightly when you first came. Well, wish you all the best luck tomorrow, my dear friend. And she kind of starts to turn around, comes back, goes, oh, silly me. By the way, she just has this giant pole just resting on her shoulders as this magnificent adorned design of gold filigree into this gold robe shines down on the blade from the firelight that's kind of beaming off of the metal. You wouldn't happen to know anything about a certain... what were they again? So Leonin, I think, in the mix, and had some friends with him, causing us a bit of trouble back in Green Nest. You wouldn't happen to know anything about these people, would you? And he's just hung up there. And he's not saying anything. It looked like he passed out. Takes her blade again, puts it near his face, puts it on the other one. I might have overdone it with this one a bit. Oh well. Another day glorious of Tiamat's blessing. And she just walks back over to the encampment.
And no one's guarding him now?
There's no one there. He's just all alone, kind of in the shadow of the rubble and the rock. She's like this is their headquarters, their base. It just seems like they're not worried necessarily about needing to guard him at this point. There's so many of them in here, you know? This is their place. Someone would have to be pretty goddamn insane to come in here and try to pull this off. So it doesn't even seem to be a worry for her at this point.
So with my like arachnid body, I'm gonna kind of like sneakily inch between like the crevices of the rock and like keep webbing while I'm like making my way down.
And one more thing, just after she leaves, you do notice, because you are the closest, Amara, that she also leaves into the cave entrance.
Okay. All right. Well, he's passed out, right?
So far, yes. But after that, we're going to, as you're kind of making your way down the mountainous terrain down to the ground level, we'll go back over to Apollo, Avery, and Arlie as you're discussing how you want to execute your part of the plan.
Okay. Arlie, Avery. Arlie goes in, does her magic, distracts the guy. Avery, you kill him, stab him in the back all the time. Don't let him cover his mouth.
Slit his throat.
Aim for his head. If his back is turned, just swipe at the neck.
Yeah.
And then I will go for the other one farther down, and try and simultaneously do this. And let's quick and quiet take them both out, and then we need to be fast before those other guards come back. And I will, Avery, once you're done, if you could help me start to free the prisoners as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And then kind of, I guess, wait for Arlie to go for step forward.
Okay, so with the 5 of you having kind of prepped what your plan of attack is, you didn't really give a point of reference or a timestamp of like at 9 o'clock we move in, or when you see the firework go off, we move in. You just kind of subtly were like, we're going to do something, try to keep up. So at this point, you know that Leosin, that's one of your goals. The prisoners are. So I'd say it's pretty safe to say you're keeping a keen eye on the environment around Leosin, just to see, like, looking up in the mountain terrain above, just to see like if your friends are making a move. I'll have each of you, Arlie, Avery, and Apollo, make a perception check to see if you can notice the giant spider that's crawling down, making its way. It's not making itself known, obviously. It's going through the crevices, so it's going to be very hard to spot.
I got a
13.
12.
15, 15, 12?
13.
13. 13, 13, 12. Okay.
15, 13, 12.
15. Okay, my bad. So Apollo and Avery, you don't notice this, but Arlie, as you're kind of discussing taking out these cultists in this camp, you kind of just look over to the area of Leos, and you just have that thought of like, fuck, I wonder what our friends are right now. And then through the crevices of these mountainous rocks, through the night, you can just barely make out this leg of a giant wolf spider just curl in behind a rock. And you're like, for a second, you're like, is that Amara? I really hope it is. Like, you're not too sure, even if it's her or not. But you're just like, you got, after being with her for a while, you're like, that seems like an Amara thing to do. Let's just hope it's not a real wolf spider.
Yeah.
And Artrion, still standing firm in your spot, waiting to come in if need be.
Yeah, I don't want to. As long as I have that telescope, I'll keep rolling perception just to see where I can see everybody.
Okay.
So I just want to from my perspective, as long as I can see them, I can see what they're doing, and I know when to help out, when to move. So
here's a fun thing that I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
We are going to roll to see which of you goes first in this plan, whether it's, or either we're going to roll to see which one of you enacts this part of this plan first, or Amara, do you want to wait before going down to Leosin as you can kind of see your friends in the distance over there? Do you want to see them make a move first before you go down, or do you want to try to go at the same time?
I would like to do it first, just so that I could get him out and then help them with the prisoners after.
Okay, so this is where we'll roll a quick dex check to see which one of you will be going first. Who's faster at kind of like making it over.
But I'm going after Arlie.
Yeah, our plan acts as soon as Arlie starts.
Okay, so we'll do Arlie and Amara then. The two of you make quick dex checks.
I rolled a 7.
I got a 21.
Okay, so the giant wolf spider is making the move first in the dead of night. You kind of notice too, this area is a bit, Amara, you notice that, you know, the number of guards here have quieted down. You saw some of them kind of go into their tents at the end of the night. You see your friends kind of subtly start to make their way over. You just start to like, okay, it's now or never. And Arlie, as you notice that leg kind of sliding over to the rock, you then see 8 legs just start to make their way out of this giant rock, and this wolf spider emerges and starts to very silently crawl down the side of the rock as this giant wolf spider kind of comes from up behind a boulder, and you see this piece of webbing out of their abdomen kind of makeshift or slams against the wall, and then the body just silently makes their way down to the bottom of the ground. So Amara, you are currently on the ground here next to where Leosin is tied up to the rope.
And am I allowed to move yet, or?
Yeah, so this is all you right now, and how you want to follow up this
Sure.
as you're on the ground next to him.
So I'm gonna just put the collar down right at his feet because I assume his head is kind of like down and like.
Yeah, he's completely passed out.
I'm gonna just start like biting at the rope and trying to like, I guess, untangle it, or if I could just bite through it.
Bite through it. Okay. Let me just see. Just looking at the check for what that is. Oh no. Okay. Hold on.
Sorry, I just periodically muting myself because my cat has the zoomies and she's playing right now. She's slamming into everything, so I'm just muting for everybody else's sake.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine. My cats scream all the time. It's good.
She just like is like constantly pawing at this spring and flying everywhere. So yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so biting through the ropes and trying to get him free. It's still gonna. Okay. Roll an attack because you're biting it, right? So you're essentially attacking the rope, trying to break it apart. So roll an attack really quick with your bite.
So would it be the +3 to hit
Yeah.
thing? Okay.
So you roll d20 and add 3.
Okay. D20. Oh, 19 plus 3, 23 or 22.
Yeah. So you can roll your damage on the rope because it's a bit taut and kind of tight. Just roll your 3d6. 1d6 piercing plus 2d6 poison. The bites of spiders are crazy.
12.
12. So this huge spider body goes over to Leosin's sort of capture structure, I want to say. My words are weird. You're going up to his the rope that he's tied with on the big peg he's on, and this giant spider body just goes up. Start munching on the ropes with your giant fangs. Just falls, his body tumbles on the ground.
Is there a way that I can like catch him with my spider body? So he's like on top of me instead.
I will say make a dex check, just super quick.
16 plus 3. That's the same as mine. So can I just roll?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 12.
12. I'm just seeing here. Yeah, so the body kind of starts to fall down, and your abdomen goes and shoots this kind of hammock webbing out to him. So he just muffles the sound of him hitting the hard ground. So it's a bit silent as he hits and tumbles down.
Okay. Like there's no way to like get him on top of me from that?
Well, this is the thing. So you as a spider body, your legs are up, you're biting the rope behind him, and you're a spider. So you know what I mean? Like you've got limbs, but you can't be like, like
okay.
It's a bit harder. But you were able to muffle the ground with your webbing. So when he hit the ground, he didn't take any damage. He didn't make any noise. It was muffled and soft. So he went. So that's good.
Right.
But he is on the ground currently, just laying there. And the guards inside the tents, you wait a minute, you don't hear any rustling around. They didn't seem to hear anything, so you seem good on that.
I guess I'm gonna just like start making like this hammock thing and put the collar thing like in it too, with him in it, and just like put it in my mouth. Or not in my mouth. Like I guess if I can hold him with my
Yeah, so we can say that like, so you've put him, he's fallen down this bed of webbing, and then you're like starting to wrap him up in the webbing like you would wrap around like a fly, and you got your two front legs kind of like caressing him in there, and the rest of your legs are able to kind of move around. So I'm gonna have you, so you want to try to move him back up over here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna have you make a stealth check super quick.
Stealth, and that would be with the spider.
The spider, yeah.
So, what is there?
So it's +7. So a D20 +7.
Okay. Natural 20.
Oh, okay. So as this is happening, we're gonna pan over to Arlie, Apollo, and Avery as you're about to start your part of the plan, and as you're kind of talking to yourselves of like what route you should go, what path. You just notice this giant, Arlie just barely notices this very camouflaged spider slowly moving down, gently going up to the wooden post Leosin is tied to. See the fangs started piercing at the rope, and this sort of acid spit goes in the rope, singeing it, and lands on the ground. But this webbing comes out. You're seeing all this Arlie go, and you just kind of look to your friends. You're like, "It's now or never. We need to do this." How do you want to pursue or proceed?
So I saw that, so I would just tell Apollo and Avery, like, "Hey guys, so I can see, I just saw she just got him. Like, we gotta move now." So Avery, let's go.
I'm gonna wait outside. I'll be waiting for you said it was what's our safe word?
It's a venison.
Venison, yes, of course.
When you hear the word venison, attack him as quickly as possible so that he doesn't make
Deal.
noise. So I guess let's move over. Can I move my character?
Okay. So are you going in are you trying to go in the front entrance and just open up the entrance, or are you trying to go behind? How do you want to proceed?
I'm going into the tent from the front entrance. Just
Okay.
Very, just like,
So I'll have both of you make stealth checks for Apollo and Arlie.
I'm going alone to the bottom tent.
Okay.
I'm just waiting to until they attack to synchronize my attack with their attack.
I'm not trying to be stealthy. I'm just walking in the front door of this tent.
I got an 18.
21.
Okay, so 18 for Avery stealth. Apollo, you got what for
21.
stealth? 21. Arlie, you're not rolling stealth at all?
I mean, should I? I don't know. Like,
It's a good idea. So just so you're aware with just the mechanics of how this works, for stealth is the mechanic for the NPCs around you. They have this thing called passive perception, which means like stealthing ensures that you don't crunch on a twig, you don't trip and fall, nothing happens to a point where you're aware of their presence.
Roll a natural one and trip into the fire and you get burned and you
Kind of, yeah. So if you don't want to roll stealth, that's fine. That just means that the NPC in the tent, there's a higher chance that they will notice you coming in and it won't be a surprise.
I know, but I'm not trying to surprise him is the thing.
Okay, you're just trying to go in bold? Okay.
I'm just going
It
and
won't,
like,
it won't alert
hey, soldier.
Apollo's guy though, will it though?
We'll find out.
If it does, I'm just gonna strike. Like the moment.
So, Apollo and Avery, you very stealthily kind of get into position behind the tents. You look over to Arlie, you're like, go. So Arlie, you just start to make your way into this tent. The guard inside is like pretty much asleep, and then you start to get closer, and he can hear your footsteps, hear you kind of rustling around. Your arms start to come into the entrance of the tent, and he just starts to open his eyes. Whoa! Who? What are you doing? Who are you?
Okay.
And
I had already like pulled my shirt down over my shoulder, and I'm like,
ooh.
Andrew, don't look at me like. Andrew, stop looking at me.
She is trying to do her part to make sure you don't die, Andrew. Don't fuck this up for her.
I'm blushing now. Andrew, stop. Andrew, turn around. Okay, so I pulled my shirt. Huh?
Yeah, go on. Everyone, shut up.
Okay. I pulled my shirt down and I'm literally like, hey soldier, did you I noticed the eye contact that we had earlier. How's it going? It's nice and warm in here. And I kind of like try to like get in next to him. Like I'm being pretty assertive, but like.
Yeah, you're being very assertive and going in there. He's like, you did, you noticed. I thought maybe you thought I was weird. I just never seen a servitor before.
Weird? No, I thought you were the most handsome man I'd ever seen in my life. As I like move in, really like so like if he's in the tent, right? He's laying here.
Yeah.
Here, I'm like coming up next to him, but like above his head a little bit, and just like sitting with like my deer legs like curled up, but like kind of to where he has to look up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And away from the entrance.
Oh my God. I would. You just kind of flustered as you're really like coming on strong here. Oh God. I'm sorry. I've never been with a servitor before. I'm not even sure how this works.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. And I like go to like put my hands out to like grab his hands, and I'm trying to like encourage him to like sit up with me.
Make a charisma check at advantage.
Charisma. At advantage, so I roll twice.
Yeah, and take the higher amount.
19.
So yeah, you settle up. You just going straight, like just so aggressive and forward. And he's just taking it back, but he's kind of like, "Fuck, this is great. I'm not gonna." He's just like, "I don't know why this is happening, but fuck, sure." Just kind of going along with it.
I feel
he's
so
like,
bad.
and he's like, wait, you might shut the tent, and shut the tent door. Shut the tent door. We don't want to wake anyone up. We don't want anyone to notice what's going on in here. You know what I mean? You might want to just shut that for now.
Shh. Let them notice. Wait, can I put my finger?
That's what I'm doing. That's your finger, honestly.
Let them hear. And then I like pull him. I'm trying to maneuver behind him so that
you're behind him, and he's just kind of like, oh my God.
Okay.
He's just like, I don't know what's about to happen next. It's just like all these thoughts are going through his brain, like, what kind of crazy Kama Sutra do they have? I don't even know. It's just like getting himself sitting up, and he's just, you got him in the palm of your hands, basically.
Okay. And then I'm still holding one of his hands, and I kind of look back at my like deer body, and I'm kind of wagging my tail a little bit, and I'm like, have you ever had any? And I slap my deer like hindquarters venison.
Oh, well, I think we had some venison earlier, but I'm sure your cut of meat is much more desirable than whatever that was.
At this point, I'm going to kill this guy and end this terrible encounter that we're having right now.
Simultaneous stab.
So I'm going to go ahead and end
just
this.
A dagger comes through the tent and but no, so you've got him like, he's like, you've got your arms around him. He's looking up, like not near the tent entrance at all. Are you trying to distract him while the other two do their thing, or are you trying to?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm going in. She said this. She said the safe word. I'm going in and.
Yeah. So I've got his one hand in my hand, and he's looking at me, and his back is turned to the tent now, and I'm. Just, have you ever had?
So Avery, you want to. You want to come in through the front?
Yeah, I'm going to the front.
Try to get it behind him.
He's facing away, going in behind him. She's distracting him.
Okay.
And I'm gonna.
So you're super silent right now. She's like, well, maybe shut the door, and she's like, no, this is our moment, and just has his face like looking at hers. His back is towards the entrance. This is your move, dude. You hear that code word?
Yep. So I'm going in straight to the entrance, putting one hand over his mouth, slit throat, quick clean.
Okay. What do you want to attack him with?
We're just gonna grab this short sword and just.
So you can attack him once with the short sword, and then you could action surge to attack him twice.
Okay. Would I need to attack him twice for like a stealth kill like that? Yeah, I would.
So the thing with
I have two-hand fighting as well too, so I could.
Yeah, so the thing with doing stealth kills of this nature, it's not like stealth kill, they're all dead. They still have their hit points.
Got you.
This guy doesn't have his armor on him because he's put it down to go to bed for the night, so he'll be easier to hit. But you still have all those mechanics to deal with. So if you want to try to end him, you could hit him with your longsword.
Can I use a precision attack and add one of my dice?
Yeah,
Cool.
you
So
totally could.
I'm going to use the precision attack. And
I'll give you totally get advantage on this hit too.
Cool.
Because
So-
he's not seeing any of this coming. It's a surprise round.
So we'll add one of the
and
the
Arlie,
D8.
you could also like stab him in his throat as Avery is doing this as well. So you both could try to end him in one go.
Cool.
So we'll
So
let Avery go first.
roll to hit first.
Yeah, so advantage.
It would be it was a big one. 22.
Oh yeah, that hits.
And then I could roll it again, but I think we're fine. And then
I mean, you might as well because you
Okay.
make crit and do more damage. It doesn't hurt.
Got you. Okay. Yeah, still 22 is the highest. And then for damage, we've got a 7, and then plus one of the D8.
Yeah, so you roll, so you 7, then you roll the D8 on top of that.
7 plus 6, so we got 13 damage.
7 plus 6, so 13. So you're going in with your longsword and doing the parry because you are the battle master now with your subclass. So you kind of you pull his head towards yours, Arlie, and you're like, "This is our night." Slap through behind, and then Avery just is sneakily like creeping more as you're saying this to him, and he takes his sword out, and you just see it's not even a slash; it's this slow, just like a hot knife in butter. You just see this sword go.
Oh man.
As this blade comes out from his back of his neck to his
Pillars
front,
the village, he pillars the village, he pillars the village.
and it's getting closer and closer to your face, Arlie, and then it stops. And blood is coming down his neck. He can't scream because you've literally cut his vocal cords, but he is not completely dead. He's got a couple hit points left as he's just
So can I also use an
just
unarmed
clearly
strike?
suffering.
Because I have a 2-weapon fighting.
Yes, so you could use like a hand axe or a dagger and try to strike him again. You just wouldn't get the modifier or the
Brilliant.
I don't know if you get your extra D8 with that as well. I think it's just normal hit.
Yeah, added to the roll before. Yes, I think it is just that initial hit. But yeah, so the hand axe to hit would be a
So I'll give you advantage again because this is all kind of in one go.
14 or a 19. So 19.
Yeah, that'll hit.
And damage is 1.
1 damage?
1.
So you
This
see this
poor
blade
guy.
kind of goes through his neck. He's just struggling. You thought you're kind of pissed off because you kind of, Arlie's kind of, you've got a thing going on there and you're like, fuck this dude. You're making it hurt as much as possible. But then the thought comes and you're like, oh shit, that wasn't this. I wanted to end him quick. He's just like suffering and jittering around. You take your hand axe, you're like, you just do this quick like slice around his throat. More blood is just coming down through his shirt and onto the ground. He's just jittering around and like suffering and like he has 1 hit point left.
Oh my gosh.
Can I-
That's brutal.
Okay, can I try to attack him now then?
Yeah, you can try to fucking end his life already if you like.
Make this encounter more
Yes.
awkward.
I would just like to use my short sword.
Sure. You can roll the hit advantage as well. As his eyes like looking behind him and looking at you like, why? Why? I
Okay.
thought we had a moment.
I rolled an 18 to hit
That hits.
and a 7 for damage.
And a 7 for damage. So as he's like, just his hands start to reach out towards you. You just take your short sword, like, oh, this is suffering. Just take your short sword and you just, with a quick slice, just as Avery kind of puts his sword back from the strike, just this quick slash. His head is stable there for a minute, and then it goes.
So venison, huh? That was our word. Venison.
And as his headless torso falls down to the side, Avery is behind you with this bloody sword, or behind the torso, and he says, "Venison, huh?" And there's just this pool of blood all around you, like filling up the tent.
Well, I'm just glad that he likes it, you know. So anyway, let's get the hell out of here.
He liked it.
Pass quickly.
From there, as this is happening at the same time, we've got Apollo. So, Apollo, as are you going to the front entrance too? Are you going to do the same tactic? Or
No, I'm not going to do it to say so.
Wait, Apollo, you gotta try to seduce the next guy.
I'm gonna, there's an entrance, right?
Yeah, there's like the front flaps of the tent.
Is he? I'm gonna like. I have the rapier ready, and I'm just gonna push past. Is he asleep?
Oh yeah, they're both asleep.
Yeah. I'm just gonna come up, stand over him with the rapier, and like aim for the neck for the first hit, just straight through, mimicking because the other time it worked so well. I'm just gonna stab him through the neck.
Do it. Roll advantage to hit, and you'll get sneak attack. So you should kill this guy one go. We'll see.
20
to hit. Yeah, a hit.
Yeah. Oh my god. Plus 12 damage.
12 damage on the first strike.
I only have one strike.
Right, with sneak attack damage?
Yeah, it's 12 with sneak. I rolled a 1 on my rapier damage. Sneak attack was 7.
So
but it's through the neck. So
it's through the neck, but the same thing. You kind of sneakily get in there on your tabaxi hindquarters. Raise up your rapier. Just stab straight and true as the blade goes through his neck into the grassy ground underneath, and you feel it pierce the ground. It's kind of stuck, almost shish kebabbing him to the ground. His eyes. He's trying to move, but you've pinned him into the ground through his neck, and he can't move. He can't do anything, and you've ripped his vocal cords.
I'm gonna leave the sword in, and can I just take a dagger out and like through the skull?
Yeah, roll again with advantage.
Oh my god, that was a 1 and a 2. So 8.
Poor guys.
8 damage on top of 12?
No, it's 8 to hit with the dagger.
8 to hit?
Yep.
So he's just like, you kind of go to like throw your dagger at his head, like, oh shit, die. He like moves his head just slightly, go ting, and it pings to the ground.
God damn it, do you want this pain to end or not? I'm just gonna fucking like... Can I try again?
Yep. This will just be regular though, because he's very much like sees you.
23.
But he's prone, so you will get advantage actually. 23? Yeah, that'll hit.
Yep. And is it still sneak attack? Oh, actually it is, yeah. Because I'm the only one within 5 feet of him.
Yeah.
So that is another. That's 11 damage.
11 damage. So you missed that first one as he's flailing around with the rapier kind of shish kebab in the ground. He's like, God damn it.
Okay.
Silence. As you kind of wait for a second, you're like, there's a lot of rustling around. Avery and Arlie, as you're finished with your dude, as he falls to the ground, you just hear this very faint from the other tent and a bit of rustling around. You hear us like, shit. As he's trying to murder this guy.
Go to sleep.
But I rolled to see if anyone nearby heard you. They did not. So as you take a moment, wait for your action for anybody. You hear nothing. Amara, as you're sort of webbing up Leosin, you just hear faintly in the camp, not too far away from you, just this Hey there, big bird. You get this like slight sort of muffling of Arlie coming on to this dude, and you just hear like faint like, and then you just hear this various sort of struggling and gurgling sounds coming from the tents, and then you hear the faint sound of Apollo going shit. But as that happens, you're able to. They have successfully taken out those two camp guards, and Amara, you've now got Leosin further curled up. No one seems to have noticed you. You're gonna take him up to the top there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to bring him over to Archeon.
I thought you were already up, though. I thought you moved already up. If I'm not
Amara, no, we were doing this in tandem, so she went down there, did that, and then at the same time I was running their encounter. So now that's all settled. She's coming up.
Okay.
Now with Leosin wrapped up. So you make your way to Archeon. It's easy enough. As you see this really creepy wolf spider just kind of like making your way towards you with a wrapped up Leosin in her front sort of bipedal legs there.
I know he doesn't understand me, but I'm just.
I was gonna say you don't understand her either. Her mandibles just like. You see like wisps of Amara's hair. You see wisps of Amara's hair kind of in the fur of the giant spider.
Even worse.
It's purple. It's beautiful.
Like the giant wolf spider is wearing like an Amara wig.
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna give you like a really shaky thumbs up as
I'm just like I'll like put the body right where you are, and I guess I'll like try to unfurl him a little bit so that it's easier for you to access him because webbing.
Put him over his mouth, but not over his nose, so he could still breathe. But if he wakes up, he's not in a panic as to where he is. He starts shouting. So put a layer of web on his mouth.
Okay.
Just in case.
I'll do that.
I can say that to you. You just can't say anything back to me.
Yes. I'll just be like, okay. Yeah, but I'll like unfurl him so that you can like help move him because the web is very sticky and I don't know if you can get, but I'll put it on his mouth. And
For
then
sure.
I'm gonna make my way back over so I can go back down.
Okay, so before that, we'll say that was your ability to kind of go up there, drop off Leosin to him, kind of unfurl the webs a bit, put a little bit of webbing over his mouth in case he wakes up. He's like, what the fuck? But at that point, we'll go back to Apollo, Avery, and Arlie, who you successfully clipped out those camp guards. What would you like to do next?
Are we coming out of the tent at like the same time?
Let's say yeah.
I'm just gonna like look over there, make sure okay, we're good. I'm gonna look at Avery and like point to the prisoners. I've had an idea. I want to. How dark is it? We know Amara took Leosin, right? You communicated that to us, Arlie. That you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we know he's gone, right? So
as you look over, you can see that he's not there anymore.
How dark is the area around where he was like strung up?
It was pretty dark. It was like you get a little bit of dim light from the campfires here, but not a ton.
I'm gonna drag the body of the guy I just killed over there, and I want to like string him up in the place of Leosin. I'm gonna be like, and like I'm gonna mess up his face even more so it looks like Leosin did, and like make him that way. If someone looks over here, if that lady looks over here again, she might like see just the silhouette of a body still up there and be like, oh, he's still there, he's fine, he's bleeding. Maybe the blood covered him too much. Oh, no one will know. So.
That might be kind of hard because I did put my web down like everywhere.
I have a sword. I should be able to just.
Okay, so with the murdered body of the cultist, you kind of drag it over to this area where there's kind of bits of webbing and things on the ground, so the difficult terrain kind of makes your foot kind of sticky as you're trying to walk by, as you try to do your best to kind of wrap him back up with any rope that's left over and kind of chain off this cultist that just has its head down with this noticeable stab wound through the neck and a huge gaping hole in his head where you chucked the dagger.
I'm gonna cut up his face more, so it's less noticeable that that's the one thing that it's less notable that that's the one thing that killed it. It's more like there's blood all over his face.
Kind of like when you're like working with an Etch-a-Sketch, you shook it a little bit. You're like, oh no, the whole thing's ruined.
Yeah, just
Kick 'em
I mean,
always
you
down.
could use my web to like tie him back up if you wanted, or try to.
I think I have rope. Like I think
Okay.
I've got that. Like that's
Make-
part of my.
First, I'll say make a
Yeah.
performance check to see how well you cut up his face. Second, roll another stealth check as you're dragging his body through like the ground and doing all that.
22 and 16.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, you kind of like you pick him up on your shoulder and kind of walk over to the stake and you start wrapping him up with rope along the wood and you just take your dagger out and you're like, let's have some fun. And you kind of start carving just like weird stuff into his face. Like whatever you want to carve, you basically do. So it's up to you. You can say what you carve into his face or they're just like different strikes and slashes. You can do that too.
I'm gonna remember what these guys talking about rating that how they hate books. I'm just gonna go to town, like full on, like just give them a Joker smile, give them like just can
Like
I draw
Victor Zaz, just like 1,000 cuts all over his face.
can I is he like what's he wearing, like what's his shirt?
He was just wearing like loose materials like from underneath his robes and stuff. So he just has like general linens.
Can I, with my dagger, write Tiamat sucks with like an SUX on his chest?
You can do whatever you like.
I would like to write that and then cover it a little bit so that it's not immediately noticeable, but that if someone were to search further, they would see. Like, and then I'm just gonna leave him and go help Avery.
Okay. So as you kind of go do that, Arlie and Avery, what would you like to do?
I'm getting these prisoners out of the chain, so
Yeah, same.
So you go over to them. Some of them are asleep on the ground, and some of them are kind of the chains kind of attached themselves within the tents. Are you gonna like wake them up first,
yeah.
or
So I'm gonna like slowly, just like kind of like nudge one of them and say, "Hey, we're here to help. We're going to rescue you. We already got your friend out, and you guys are next. So spread the word. Stay quiet. Come with us."
Thank God. Oh, thank God. Yeah. Are you anything you say? We just don't want to be here anymore, please.
and one of them starting to like,
Hey, wake up. Help's arrived. Hey.
they're kind of like waking each other up, like, huh? You're like, shh, stay down. And the rest of them start to sort of rustle around on the ground and wake each other up. Are you going to be picking the lock, Avery, or Arlie,
So-
or Apollo?
Is it? So they're all like in chains. They're not like
Yeah, they're all in mandibles, so you'll need to do a lock picking check to
right.
get them
What would be the lock picking check? What would we roll?
I believe you rolled dex on lock picking.
Okay,
Just,
I could do that. I'll roll for that. I got a 12.
It'd be like sleight of hand, wouldn't it?
It depends. It's usually a dex check. If you have thieves tool, you get your proficiency with the dex check.
Okay.
Sleight of hand is more for stealing things.
Yeah, I think it's both the same because dexterity is both a +4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I got a 12.
You got a 12. Okay, so there's about 8 of them in here. So say for the first 4, you kind of start getting your tools out, and you're able to kind of unlocking the first set of 4, and then going over to the next set. So I'll have you make another lockpick check.
Got it. 11.
11. So as you're going through the last 4, 3, 2, you're going to the last one with your lockpick. It snaps in the lock. But as the manacles on the person's arm, you notice falls down as you're able to just barely unlock that last one before getting it lodged in there.
I was about to say goodbye hand.
But you do release the manacles off of the prisoners here, as they are now free to move with you.
Great. Yeah, so everybody, we're here to save you. We're headed up over the hills. We have a wagon to take us out of here, but we have to be very quiet to get out.
As you say that, off in the sort of the main sort of lit path, you notice a slight little patrol of kobolds starting to make their way kind of across that main path. Need you all to roll stealth checks for me really quick. Just to like, you kind of just quiet down and just put everyone low in the shadows, trying to keep out of their eyesight. As they're just kind of casually walking around, they're not necessarily like looking in that direction, but they're just
19.
walking by.
Including me?
Yeah.
Okay. 18.
9.
And prisoners got an 18. So as the kobolds kind of like,
I don't know. When are we gonna stop this revolt? I don't know. That fucking Tabaxi said we were gonna take over the fucking humans. I don't know what it is.
they're just like having this conversation as they're walking by. One of them kind of like finishing off the last part of some sort of meat on a bone, kind of tucks it behind his back, and that bone goes scatters about and just comes really close to you, Avery. As you have everyone hushed down low on the ground, you can hear the campfire nearby kind of crackling and whistling as the fire is kind of getting lower and lower. The dim light is getting a bit less exhausted, and you kind of wait and you just hear those footsteps walk past you.
Nice. We made it. We need to make our way over to Archeon with his rope.
Yes, sir. So we'll go back over to Archeon and to Amara as you've placed down Leosin on the ground, covered in webbing, removed some of it, but kept some on so he doesn't get too freaked out when he wakes up. Archeon, I'll have you roll perception at advantage really quick to see if you can kind of see what's going on down there in the dark.
8. At 10. 10.
So they're hard to see at this point. There's a bit of dim light for the campfire, but in the dead of night, obviously, their bodies are getting kind of lost in the shadows down below. So it's kind of hard to make out like what they're doing, but you can kind of see, you see Apollo kind of carrying this person over to where Leosin was. You see faint, sort of blurry, dark images of what looked like your friends kind of releasing the prisoners and kind of moving about. You don't see much detail, but you can just make these kind of faint, blurry visages down there. But as you are trying to release these prisoners, you're trying to somehow signal to Archeon that you need to get up there.
Oh, I was just gonna, like, with that knowledge, if I can see them, I was just gonna plan on moving to the edge and just throwing the rope over.
Okay, so moving to the edge.
How close do I need to be to the edge in order to throw that rope over? I got 50 feet of it, so I got enough.
Yeah, you gotta go pretty much like here, like right at the top there.
Right here? Or one more?
One more.
I'll go one more. Alrighty.
Right there. So I'm gonna have you roll a stealth check really quick as you make your way over there.
Can I go with him?
Did you take off your armor?
No, I didn't take off my armor. Could I take off my armor before I did this?
Yeah, leave it with Leosin.
Yeah, I'll allow that. That's okay.
Okay. So I have to go back to, go back.
So you go into your equipment, I believe, and you have armor that you just click off.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And I really hope it helps me. Stealth check with it did not help me worth shit. It's 4. Great. Awesome. Cool. I'm glad I did it.
Well, we
Can I
killed most
go
of the
with
guys.
him? And does he get an advantage if I go with him?
He would, but at this point, he's already kind of said his thing. We backtracked for the armor, so that was kind of like the one mulligan. So unfortunately, he kind of goes forward ahead of you as he kind of sees these dark visages kind of gathering around where the prisoners are. He kind of like, oh shit, it's my time. And he kind of, as he's walking forward, his armor's kind of clink, clink, kind of a little bit, making a bit of sound. He's, shit, starts to take it off. Kind of chucks it as he's kind of in this hurried mindset. The armor kind of smacks against the rock and the shale, making a bit of a loud sound.
Oh, fuck.
Did I regroup with Arlie and Avery?
Yeah, at this point, you can kind of see them releasing all the prisoners, and you can kind of make your way back over there if you want.
I think it's time we start the revolt.
I agree. I think we might need a distraction.
I'll handle it. You guys focus here. And
as that happens, you say that, and you kind of notice this Leonin body kind of appear at the ledge up top of the mountainside, just looking at you all. And you see his face is kind of a little bit illuminated from the campfire light, but not very. But you could just see kind of Arctron's face and hair kind of coming out from between the rocks. He just goes, and he starts slowly putting down rope for you to make an escape.
How tall is the cliff?
The cliff is like 20 feet or so.
Okay, can I, since I have 50 feet of it, can I double it up so it's strong enough to hold more people? Like just literally just kind of like throw down, like fold it in half and then throw that down as I have it. Either I'm holding it.
The rope will be strong enough to hold them. They'll have to make checks to climb up it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So you won't have to worry about it snapping or anything like that.
Okay, I just was curious.
Yeah.
Covering all spaces.
No worries. But as you dropped that armor and you kind of look towards the boulder side to see if anyone heard it, they are too far away, and there are no prisoners in the camp, so you don't hear anyone kind of hearing that and coming over to your side.
Okay. Can I add something really quickly as I'm slowly lowering it down? Can I tie these kind of knots into the rope so it makes it easier to climb? Maybe give them a slight advantage on strength. I gotta ask.
Yeah, I'll allow that. Make a performance check to see how well you tie these knots.
Okay. Performance. I have a +2, so fingers crossed. 20.
Nice. So as they're kind of taking their time getting ready, you kind of instinctively start to tie some knots so they're a bit more sturdier to hang on to as you start to release that down to them. Okay, Apollo, Avery, Arlie, you see this rope being descended down. What do you want to do?
I'm going to usher everybody over towards the rope and say, climb up. Our friends are up above. I'll be down here to assist anybody who can't make it.
Once most of them have like gotten up the rope, I'm going to head over to try and find those kobolds again.
Can I actually just go down and help people to like?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna just do that.
Also, one of our friends is a giant spider. Do not be scared. She's really cool.
Trust the 8-legged freak. Yes.
Yeah.
I explained that she's actually not a spider. She's just in the form of one to help climb up the walls. Also, as we're done with this, and Apollo said he was going to go to the kobolds, I would like to go with him.
Okay.
And also, I want to go and find Bill the pony and make sure he's okay. We got to go back for him.
Are you going to sneak back through the camp? We're going to head back over towards the wagon, right? And get back.
We're going back.
Yeah, we're headed back around. So maybe don't go through the camp just yet.
So as a giant spider, you see this as the Leonin kind of makes his presence known through the very dim campfire light. These two legs just kind of climb over Arctron's body as you see his face just like, just like clearly uncomfortable with it, holding this rope, and he's like, I don't like it. And as this giant wolf spider is kind of coming down the side there, I'm going to have you roll stealth as well, Amara, coming down the cliffside there. Make sure no rocks fall down.
And it was a 20 plus 7?
Yeah, it's a D20 plus 7.
12.
A 12. As you've been going up and down this rock face several times now, you kind of start to go over Archer and he kind of goes, and he just kind of shakes a little bit and kind of accidentally hits one of your legs, and one of your legs slip on the shale rock, and this rock goes, tumbles down the side of the rock face. And that does catch the attention of these kobolds as they're kind of sitting there at their end of their patrol. You see, and Apollo, you can see them as you were kind of directed over towards them. You see two and they go, huh?
I'm already like on it, like instantly, like.
Yeah, I want to go with him.
The moment they look over, I'm gonna be like, brothers, in Draconic, just full into it.
Okay, so we'll do this. We'll wrap up Amar's thing, and then we'll wrap up the session there. But so as these kobolds are starting to make their way towards your vicinity, you kind of come out of the darkness there through the campfire dim light and meet them halfway. And you say,
brothers, it's time. It's time. The humans will learn now.
And I'm gonna point at the humans that like were over by where Avery is, the ones that were talking shit about books, and be like,
It starts with them. They must be brutalized and taught a lesson. Come, my brothers, let us start. Let us not get there. They're not allowed to have the first shot in this. They must know their place.
And then I'll say, yeah, and also we were eavesdropping and they called you guys ugly.
No. They called Tiamat ugly.
They fucking called our beautiful goddess ugly. It's fine if they called us ugly. I'm like, we're pretty ugly. Yeah, we're pretty ugly.
I'm gonna hand the one in the front a rock, and I'm gonna point at one of the guys kind of sleeping over one of the guys who was talking shit about books, and I'll be like,
use it on the back of his head. Teach him a lesson.
And but you're gonna come with. You come with us. We're not gonna be able to do this on our own.
You kobolds, they don't like you a lot, and they don't. So you should be the first to strike. So you go first, and we'll back you up.
I pull out my bow and like knock an arrow, and I'm like, "We'll be right behind you."
We're right behind you. Go.
They're looking at each other like kind of enamored. Arlie, are you backing up Apollo's tactic here? Okay, I'll give you advantage on persuasion this time.
natural 20 on the first one. They don't like books. They talk shit about the library. They die.
So you kind of like give this rock. Don't worry, we'll be right behind him. Go get those fuckers. They said Tiamat's ugly. You wouldn't like that, would you? They don't respect you. Like, this rock, like, I get, like, yeah, this fucking dude. And they just start to make their way over to these guys. And these guys are all like, some of them are asleep by the campfire, but a lot of them are in the tents. And you just see these kobolds just rush over to this guy's campsite. You're just like, we're tired of you taking over! Bam! And just this giant rock smacks one of them who's on this ground asleep. He just goes, just smashes it on his head. Oh, his jaw's like broken to the side. We've had enough of this shit! And they just start wrecking over the tents. And they go, whoa, what's happening? Sound the alarm, something's happening. Ding, 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 ding.
We go early.
All of the guards around you are starting to get out of their tents, being like, "What's happening? Like, revolts! One of the kobolds has gone the way." Like, "Oh, this fucking kobolds! I've been waiting for this!" And all the guards just leave their tents, and they all start running over towards this tent over here, and it's like a giant bar room brawl has now happened with all these guards. These guys are still staying put. They haven't moved. They're just kind of looking at this. But kobolds, bandits, humans, everyone's just tumbling over each other, stabbing, beating each other up. And it's just started this huge, like a pot that's just been brewing for way too long. The whistle is loud as it's ever been. The temperature is so hot, they just started to combust and fight each other. As you say that, you're booking it back over there.
Yeah, well, we were kind of like, the moment they turned around to chase or to go do this, we were like, and into the background. Like,
Yeah.
and
Okay,
fade out.
make one last stealth check as you're trying to all these guards are running towards where you are to see if anyone kind of sees you just slinking away as everyone's moving forward.
Can I take my armor off real quick too to get rid of that stealth disadvantage?
If you leave your armor, you will leave it behind you and you won't be able to go get it
Oh.
back
Is
Okay.
at this point.
it possible for me to, like, I don't know, roll with advantage just for both of us for this?
This is going to be an individual check for both of you.
14.
I got 12.
12. So good enough as you able to kind of just dart out of there before, because you guys were right there before everyone came. So the DC was 10 for that one. So you're able to like very swiftly just kind of make your way over here. As you see other guards, and like there are guards like waking up from these tents over here, and they're like running over here. But there's now this huge commotion going on. So you guys are now, like, the alarms are going off, everything. So Amara, you wanted to put a couple on your back to
Yeah.
get up on there. So I think you can take about 2.
Okay.
The rest of you are going to just go, try to get them up the rope. So I'll have, Archeon, you're up there. Avery, you're helping them get up first, or are you going up first?
I'm helping them get up first.
Okay, so I'll let them roll advantage.
If some or one of them don't make it, I'm yanking. As long as they're on that rope, I'm yanking it up.
I can also just like, after I take 2, I can go back down and kind of, catch them.
So as all of them are kind of going up, you just hear this commotion for you, Archeon and Amara and Avery. You just hear, you just hear this commotion from everywhere of all these people rushing over to where that campsite was. You hear swords clanging, you hear people punching, swearing, all this shit, and you start to rush. So all of them start to get up pretty well. One starts to get up. All 7 get up fine. They're all able to get up. They're a bit weak and a little slow from just working all day, but they make it up okay. The last 8th one starts to go up, but starts to fall and slip. They rolled a 6. But Avery, you're down on their bottom helping them get up.
Absolutely.
So make a dex check really quick to see if you can kind of catch this person falling so they don't hurt themselves.
11.
11, DC 10. So you kind of hold them up there like, go, we gotta get out of here, and just push them back up. I'll have you roll athletics at advantage, Avery.
Okay. Let's see, that's an 11 and a 19.
19, okay. So you just start to expertly make your way up there with a few very strong pulls up those ropes. Everyone up here just made their way up here. Avery, you are up there. And then Arlie and Apollo, you're rushing over here, getting up the rope as well.
I can stay down if Arlie just wants to hop on me, because it might be easier.
Okay, as you get up there and make everyone going off, I'm going to have you roll another stealth check as you're going over the rocky terrain again, and now the whole campsite is on alert. Everyone who's sleeping is up. Everyone is awake at this point.
Are we all rolling for stealth or who?
Just Amara as she's coming back over the ridge.
Natural 20.
Oh my god! God damn. Yeah, I rolled low. So yeah, you expertly just slide down there. No problem at all. You're able to go down there. You're taking Arlie and Apollo on your back. As you see this enormous giant wolf spider crawl down the side of this mountainous cavern once more. A little freaked out at first. You see some Arlie colored hair kind of on the side. This one little leg is just like waving over to you. Did you guys get on?
Flicking the leg, like waving.
Yeah, I jump on, like kind of in the front, and I'm just like, woo, let's go. And I'm like,
I'm gonna climb up the rope.
I'm pulling you up the rope, buddy.
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of just grab the rope and look up at Ark, like, lift me.
Archeon, make a strength check at advantage.
Strength check.
As you're pulling up Apollo.
Yeah, that's not good. 12.
12, so good enough as the wolf spider has the servitor on her back, climbs up the mountainous cavern. You are charged like, we don't have time for this. And as Apollo's just like lazily holding on in this very damsel in distress kind of look, you all very successfully make your way up on the side of the ridge over here, with everyone in tow. But as you've made your way up there, a certain female in gold and purple robes comes out from the entrance of the cave, hearing all the commotion going on in the camp, the fighting, the rabble-rousing, everything. She makes her presence known out here, goes over to these to the guards that were over here, these guys, and you can kind of see her kind of saying something to them, looks over to where the fight is going on, and then looks over to where Leosin was and makes her way over towards the camp.
Do we notice this?
Yeah, you can all see, you're pretty much high up now that you see all of this commotion going on. You can see that familiar female. Some of you know who this person is from seeing before, but for some of you, this is a totally new person because you haven't seen them yet. But as this woman figure goes over to where Leosin is, he's gone! He's gone! And just shouts it at the roof, at the top, the rooftops, and it's there that we gotta end the stream.
Hey.
That was a lot to figure out, but that was awesome. I liked every minute of it.
That went so well. Nobody got hurt at all.
We're alive.
I didn't die.
Yeah.
In fact, we took on other dudes and didn't warn anyone. Didn't like scathe by and started a whole rebellion. I mean, this is a win-win-win situation.
That was quite the session. Yeah, you guys rolled. There's a lot of crits there, a lot of high checks, taking care of those prison guards in a very horrific way, in a very smart way as well. But I kept rolling to see if anyone heard you. They rolled super low. That last sort of Cobalt patrol going by didn't notice you all. But we picked this up next Saturday with the 5 of you, 8 prisoners, a passed out monk, and now an entire campsite of bandits that know something has gone horribly fucking wrong. So we'll see how all that develops next Saturday. Everybody. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. As always, thank you all so much to the players for nerding out on a Saturday night. I hope you guys had a good time. Tune in this Monday, as always, for Beyond the Realms, my homebrew campaign that I have every week, 5 p.m. PST. We've got tons of D&D streams going on the Dicecream Twitch channel, so give us a follow. Come enjoy the nerdy fun. I hope you guys had a good time. And yeah, follow all these awesome people, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one, people. Bye-bye.
Bye.